your home of NRL.
ABC News with Miriam McDonald. Good afternoon. US Vice President J.D. Vance says talks with Iran have concluded without agreement on a peace deal. He says the US still needs to see affirmative confirmation that Iran will not seek to produce nuclear weapons. The Vice President says his team was quite flexible, but Iran chose not to accept America's terms.
We go back to the United States having not come to an agreement. We've made very clear what our red lines are, what things we're willing to accommodate them on, and what things we're not willing to accommodate them on. And we've made that as clear as we possibly could, and they have chosen not to accept our terms.
The Federal Transport Minister has cast doubt on a road user charge over concerns it could hurt electric vehicle uptake. Here's political reporter Romy Stevens.
Treasurer Jim Chalmers last year said a tax on road users to eventually replace the fuel excise was an idea whose time had come. Without reform, the federal government risks a massive hole in the budget as the tax on petrol and diesel raises up to $18 billion a year. But Transport Minister Catherine King has now cast doubt on the proposed charge, saying the government doesn't want to discourage electric vehicle uptake, particularly as more people buy EVs amid the fuel crisis.
We don't want to disincentivise that at all, so there's a balance to be struck here.
Ms King says she doesn't see a clear pathway for a road user charge through Parliament at this stage.
The state government has dismissed the coalition's election pledge to significantly boost police numbers as a stunt and a one-policy strategy. The opposition has vowed to recruit an additional 3,000 police officers, with half being experienced police from overseas who will be offered $5,000 relocation allowances. The party has also pledged to reopen more than 40 police stations that have closed or are operating on reduced hours. Senior Victorian Government Minister Sonia Kilkenny says they're working with the Police Chief Commissioner to ensure there are more police on the beat.
We have more police out on the streets here in Victoria than any other state or territory across the nation. We know that recruitment is up. We understand that applications are now at a near record high, and we will continue to back in our Chief Commissioner.
An Artemis 2 astronaut has described planet Earth as a lifeboat after the crew's return from their mission to the moon. The four-person crew have spoken publicly for the first time since splashing down just off the coast of Southern California yesterday. Their voyage took them to the far side of the moon and farther than any humans have ever gone. Mission specialist Christina Koch has described her experience of being in space.
Honestly, what struck me wasn't necessarily just Earth. It was all the blackness around it. Earth was just this lifeboat hanging undisturbingly in the universe.
Voters in Hungary will head to the polls tonight for parliamentary elections that could end Viktor Orban's 16-year grip on power. The pro-European party of Peter Magyar has a double-digit lead in the latest opinion polls. Mr Orban is a close ally of US President Donald Trump and a friend of Russian President Vladimir Putin, and his defeat would send shockwaves through right-wing politics. To sport, and the AFL's Gather Round enters its final day with 3 games across Adelaide and the Barossa Valley. Geelong will look to bounce back from its narrow Easter Monday loss to Hawthorn when it takes on West Coast at Norwood Oval. The bottom of the ladder, Richmond, will look to secure its first win of the season when it faces GWS at Barossa Park. Round 5 will wrap up tonight with Port Adelaide facing off against St Kilda at Adelaide Oval. Reigning Masters golf champion Rory McIlroy says many players could take victory heading into the final round at Augusta. The Northern Irishman carded a third round of 1 over, putting him at 11 under for the tournament and tied with American Cameron Young. Australian Jason Day is amongst the contenders, tied for 5th at 8 under. McIlroy has told Fox Sports he needs to raise his level.
The quality of the chasing pack is obvious. There was a lot of guys that shot good scores, and there's a lot of guys in with a chance tomorrow. I'm still tied for the best score going into tomorrow, so I can't forget that, but I do know I'm going to have to be better if I want to have a chance to win.
To the weather now, and there are strong to gale wind warnings for most Victorian coastal waters along with the bays. For the state, partly cloudy with scattered showers mostly near and south of the Divide, tending isolated over East Gippsland. For Melbourne, cloudy, the very high chance of showers in the southeast suburbs, the medium chance elsewhere with a top today of 16 degrees. Tomorrow, showers 19, Tuesday a possible shower 20, Wednesday a shower or two 22. It's 15 degrees. ABC News.
Goals it.
Get your footy fix
Live and ad-free with ABC Listen.
AFL, NRL, men's and women's.
This season, don't let life get in the way of the footy. Hear it on ABC Listen.
ABC Sport.
We begin this broadcast by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which this match will be played today and pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging. We extend that respect to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples listening.
One state.
And they will come from everywhere.
4 days.
This will be special.
9 matches.
The umpire holds the footy up.
And all 18 clubs for a once-a-year festival of footy.
Just cannot take your ears off this game. Oh, there's a bit to get excited about. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else on earth.
On ABC Sport, this is the 2026 AFL Gather Round, live from South Australia.
The celebrations as they come from everywhere.
Gathers bursts away, kicks the goal, and the party continues.
This is Gather Round.
Back, relax, witness the greatest. It don't get better than this.
From 45 and rides it all the way home. An ambitious effort, unbelievable. The left foot is a goal. Oh, yeah. Throws it, kicks on goal, and prancing Cody.
What a goal.
He's off and running from 45 to get the party started. It's bouncing, it's through. Bailey Smith, he'll want the cameras on him right now.
Not camera action, baby. Countdown to contact.
Spins around and buries it. Loads up from 55. That's a monster bomb.
40 metres out, snaps towards goal. What a beautiful finish.
Patrick goes square, goes for glory.
He eyes the goals and sends it home.
100% pure footy.
This is AFL Gather Round.
Runs into a dead end. Holding the ball. Big tackle. How loud is it out there? Kick on goal. Dribbles it through. What about that? Took them all on and said, I'll have some of this.
Bailey pinches his pocket and bang, bang, bang. That's the price you pay against the Premier.
Watson snaps. Oh, Watson puts it through. And the Wizard arrives precisely on time. He's built for the big stage. On his left boot, his kick is good.
Inside 50, off the step, turns and goes bang.
And snap. And goal.
There's some bravery through the middle of the ground.
How good is that? What a goal. He wastes no time. He whacks it through for another. It doesn't have to be your night, but it can be your moment. Hands it to Charlie Cameron. He can walk it in. Show him your tail lights, Charlie.
Welcome to AFL Gather Round 2026 on ABC Sport.
Runs the 50 out. What a way to finish.
On radio,
ABC Sport Digital Radio.
and ABC Listen.
You take a seat because it don't get better than this.
It's the final day of Gather Round 2026, and we've got a triple treat coming up for you on ABC Sport. Port and St Kilda will wrap things up tonight at the Adelaide Oval. GWS and Richmond will play at the Barossa, and to kick things off, we're back at Norwood. Suburban footy at its best as Geelong play West Coast. Both sides last round losers, but they couldn't have done that in different ways. Geelong lost an absolute thriller to the Hawks by 1 point, while the Eagles got thumped by the biggest margin of the season so far, going down by 128 points to Sydney. And these two sides arrive at Norwood with very different gather-round experiences. Geelong are 3-0. They've beaten the Eagles before at gather-round back in 2023 at Adelaide Oval, and then wins over the Bulldogs and the Crows. But they've never ventured out of the city before. They've left the confines at Adelaide Oval. They're at Norwood for the first time in their gather-round travels. The Eagles are yet to win at this very special event, losing, as I mentioned, to Geelong back in 2023. They lost to Sydney at Mount Barker in 24 and went down to Carlton at Adelaide Oval last year. This is their first meeting at Norwood, these two sides. Second meeting in gather-round, as I said. Can West Coast put up a competitive effort? That is truly the question. They've made 3 changes as well. Going out, Matt Flynn monstered in the ruck last week. Champion's been omitted and Jamie Cripps has been managed. In comes Robertson to provide a bigger body back in the midfield after his suspension. Bailey J. Williams will move into the ruck, and Hewitt comes in as well for his first game of the year, the very talented 21-year-old. The Cats have decided to rest to manage Mark Blitzarves. No real surprise, considering it'll be his 300th game next week, and he'll be able to play it at home against the Bulldogs. They've also managed Jack Henry and Jack Martin. So Warple returns. O'Connor is back after being managed last week. And delighted to see Jake Kolajasny, his first game for 568 days since the 24 prelim against Brisbane, has had no end of injury troubles. He finally gets another opportunity to play at AFL level. Clint Wilden with you. Mitch Turner is with me. Mitch, bit different to our usual vantage point when we call it Perth Stadium, but it's good to be right so close to the wing here at Norwood. You can almost reach over and touch the players.
It's great to be at Norwood, Clint, and as you mentioned, great to be so close, and you can actually look down and see the screens on the benches, the interchange for both sides, and we'll be able to hear some of the feedback maybe from the runner out to the player, so we'll be able to get inside the coaches' heads well and truly today. But it's great to be wrapping up Gather Round today, and it's wonderful to be out at one of these suburban heartland venues, as they like to call them, the AFL, and it's wonderful to be here, and hopefully the Eagles can put up a fight. They actually put up a pretty good fight against Geelong the last time they met before the Cats ran away from them in the last quarter, so let's wait and see. They've got a lot to answer for after last week, and they had some pretty uncomfortable meetings earlier in the week, so we'll see how much that's, I guess, had an impact on them.
I was here last night to watch Sydney. Far too impressive for Gold Coast, alongside this man, a superstar player, dual premiership player, Norm Smith, medalist, of course, Ryan O'Keefe. You do get to hear some pretty direct feedback from the benches below us, right?
Yeah, it's good, and it's good to hear. I think the fans being so close to the action, get to hear the actual communication and how much feedback and communication back and forth from the players out on there and on the bench. But yeah, look, good to be back here. It's going to be an interesting game. I know that the Eagles got a really big lesson last week, so I think this would be a really true test of a young team to see how, what resilience have they got. Can they bounce back if things don't go right early? Are they still going to show a bit of grit and go in? And then Geelong, probably that disappointment of last week. They played probably one of their better games of the year, I thought, against a pretty hot Hawthorn at the moment. So. But I think this ground will probably suit Geelong. They have, Cadidia Park's very long and skinny, so I think they'll really defend this ground well. We saw last night that it's really hard to exit your back 50 if you get pinned in there, and I think the way Geelong set up will make it very, very hard for the Eagles to score.
One of our key members on AFL, on ABC Sport. I speak, of course, the dual Australian, the former #1 draft pick, Brett Delidio, is with us. G'day to you, Brett.
Clint, great to be here with you, mate, and Mitch for the first time, mate. And obviously, Pebs, I've known you for a long time, but first time calling together, which is great. And I love being here at this ground. I've done it the last 3 years, and it takes me back to my roots, being a country boy and being so close to footy, hearing all the noise, but fans and people feeling like they can reach out and touch the AFL players. I think that's what's great about Gather Round, having it here at a suburban footy ground. And it's just a follow on from what Ryan was saying there. I feel like I'm not sure what we're going to get. I feel like it could be a bloodbath, but I just hope that after last week with what's happened to the Eagles, that they've a bit of a steely resolve and can come out and give us a bit more of a fight. They're a bit weaker down back, the Cats, but I think it'll all be won and lost purely in the middle, because when you get in for it, this ground, it's very hard, as Pebs just said, just to get it out of there.
It was one of the big challenges last week. West Coast simply couldn't get their hands on the football. Just to touch on, you spoke about the similarity between this ground, Norwood, and Cadidia Park. The Cats' home ground, 167 in length by 112. Norwood is 165 by 110. Perth Stadium, the Eagles' home ground, 165 by 130.
Yeah.
So I know that they obviously practice. You bring the boundaries in when you prepare for these games, but you can do that for a couple of weeks. But the Cats, they do this every second week. They get to play on a similar size ground.
I reckon we used to do it when we played at Subi.
Same thing.
Oregon did nothing.
No,
Oregon does nothing. We'll bring the boundary, but it's the the perspective of the stands and everything out close there, I reckon it's a complete waste of time. It never worked for us. I think we did it a couple of times and we said, let's throw this out the window. Let's just play. Yeah. There's still 4 posts at either end, and I know it's slightly different, but I think it comes down to grounds like this. It's about getting your hands on the ball and winning the contest and getting it forward. And as we saw last night, you can't overuse the handball. And I think if I'm sitting in the West Coast coaching box, it'd be like, let's just get dirty, let's get our hands on it, surge it, let's play a territory game and really put Geelong under pressure. Let's not try and be fancy and do something different. Let's just make this a real scrap.
I did the Geelong Adelaide game, and I said, mate, what's this? We're kicking it out of bounds in the full. Surely in today's game we don't do that. I reckon we had 12 or 13 for the night. Didn't Corbin enjoy just rubbing my nose in it that I made that silly call? I reckon we're up for a few here today as well, just given that it is so skinny.
Well, we saw last night, we saw 2 balls not just get sent over the boundary but over the fence, indeed out of the ground. Jed Walter put one over the top of the grandstand to our right, and there was another missed kick from the Swans that went way over into the parkland that we're facing opposite here in the main pavilion.
It's not coming back.
Neither of those are coming back.
Hit under the shirt and you are going. If you have to miss the second half, it's worth it to have a Brandy Sharon gather around footy. It's not quite like the club grounds you'd rock up to as a junior where the 50-metre line was really 45. Yep. You're like, gee, that feels really close. And you got the boys going, you can kick it 50. You're like, I'm not sure that's quite 50. It's not quite that, but it is a small ground.
The Eagles about to raise their banner. We can see it. Half our team not born back when last worn. Love it or hate, still up for debate. They are talking about the ochre jumper that they are wearing. Now, it's an interesting talking point in the West. For those of us who are a little bit older and lived through 2000, 2001, 2002, where the Eagles wore it, they played 17 games in this jumper for 2 wins, a draw and 14 losses. So if you're of my vintage and you're 50 plus, there's a little bit of post-traumatic stress syndrome. Whenever you see it, you go, oh my goodness.
You're not a fan?
I love the jumper.
Yes.
But having seen what happened when they were wearing it, which was belting after belting, I have a different opinion to Mitch Turner, who is a young bloke.
Yes.
Because the argument from the club always was, and rightly so, it might be ochre, but it's about Luca, because they made so much money on it. Every kid in Perth who was a West Coast supporter bought that jumper, which is why the young man next to me...
I wasn't even an Eagles supporter.
And he bought it.
I had one as well.
And you had one as well. I used to run around training in it in young junior footy days, and I wasn't even an Eagles fan, but I was like, how good's this Guernsey? And it brings back all these memories of these random Eagles players of the past, like Mark Miranda.
Yeah,
Chad Morrison, who ran around with the Eagles.
I remember playing against them.
I reckon Phil Reid wore it for a little bit. Like, there's all these players from back in the early 2000s. I remember playing against them.
I reckon they wore it against us once. I remember playing against it.
Got a sneaking suspicion what happened that day.
That's before they got good.
Yeah, so it's an interesting one. Certainly there's been huge sales once again. The first print sold out in the blink of an eye, and I think the second print has pretty much gone as well. So it's made a lot of money for them, and I understand why people don't like it. The traditionalists go, we should be blue and gold. I don't fall into that category, but I will openly say it does bring back some interesting memories for those of us who are about and around the club all those years ago. As I said, 17 games they played in it for just 2 wins and a draw. They're wearing it again today, the ochre. It certainly stands out. And West Coast making their way onto the ground. Liam Duggan leading them out. And the co-captains alongside Liam Baker. Eagles are first on, and they just need to be better than they were last week. It's still a young side. I mentioned last week they had 9 players under the age of 21 out there, and they had the 10 youngest players on the ground against Sydney. None of that can excuse that sort of performance. Can West Coast improve? One of the more remarkable results if they could somehow find a win. And they run out there with the back page of the West Australian or the Sunday Times proclaiming today, thanks to their former premiership coach and their now head of football, John Woolsfold, West Coast can win a flag by 2030. I don't think that's an outrageous statement, considering the look at the young talent that we'll get to have a look at today.
Anyone can win the flag in 2030, I reckon.
If you are one of those 19 teams in the comp, it's not a can, it's a will is the bigger question. But I would make this point. There's a lot of young talent in this side. They have to perform today.
They've drafted incredibly well over the last few years, obviously with their 2 number 1 picks in Harley and Dersma, but Duff Tyler, I really like Joe Shanahan as well. You know, and then the spattering of the experienced players they brought in with Graham and Baker. You know, good players in their own right, but, you know, standard setters is what I think is most important for their young side when they're coming from a successful era of, you know, being at Richmond and seeing what it takes to be at the absolute pinnacle. So, strategic, yes, but also their list manager did come from Richmond, as did their coach. So you can see what they're trying to implement there. What we need to see today is just competitive effort. Because I don't think on skill and class they're going to be able to get the job done, but can they make it a dogfight? And can they, you know, own that territory that Rock was talking about before and, you know, keep it in their forward line, because it is hard to exit once you get it in there.
If you're in the coaching box for the Eagles today, what would your message be, Ryan O'Keefe, after what happened last week?
Yeah, look, it's about actions. Actions speak louder than words, and you know they obviously had meetings and honest feedback conversations. I'm assuming. I don't know. I'm not in the inner sanctum and all that, but I'd just say that's something. Something I would have encouraged. Let's address it. Let's not sweep it under the carpet. We take it as a learning experience. We're a young team. What did we learn from it? We're up against some of the best players and one of the best teams in the comp. What did you learn from that? What can we take? How do we get better? And they've made the statement of 2030. It's about week by week for these young teams, not trying to go from 1 out of 10 to 8 out of 10 straight away. It's just okay. Next week we get a little bit better and we keep improving. So, and the best thing about the footy season is it wasn't too long. They got a chance now to redeem themselves and see all the talk and meetings they went through during the week. They're actually going to show some action. I think if they show some sort of improvement, that's the best thing and on the right trajectory.
The Cats are on the ground. They burst through their banner in front of the marvellous old Sir Edwin C. Smith Pavilion. We are Geelong. A simple message, but a strong one to those gathered here at this venue in Norwood. And they've got a couple of milestones to celebrate today. James Warple, of course, plays his 150th, a former Hawthorn Best and Fairest winner in 2019. He played 148 of those games with the Hawks, but does bring up 150 today in the AFL, also chasing a 50th goal, if you can find the major opening at some stage today. Shannon Neal, his 50th game as well. He's got 78 goals. The big forward, 10-4 so far for the season for the 23-year-old. And the Cats warming up to the right of our broadcast position. Fascinatingly, for all the games, this was one of the ones, if not the one, that was hardest to get tickets to.
Really?
People were desperate to try and get in and see this game. A lot of West Coast supporters, and again, I'm not trying to be smart here to our national audience, but the Eagles fans are used to travelling. They were happy to come to Adelaide. Yep. They've turned up in big numbers. And the Cats, we know they've got supporters everywhere. This was a hot ticket, so we're expecting a crowd certainly around the 10,000. We're told that there's a 12,000 capacity here. There was 9,700 last night, and I struggle to know where they could have fit the extra 2,000 because it was absolutely packed to capacity. It is a bit gloomy. The lights are on, but this should be a really special game if West Coast can do something about getting their hands on the football in the middle. What else do you expect to happen today, gents? We'll get our experts to have a little chat about what they believe will unfold in front of us. We speak, of course, of Ryan O'Keefe and Brett Delidio on ABC Sport.
Well, it's pretty strategic how the Cats have rested Blitzaz, so he plays his 300s next week. Is that a bit of complacency, resting a few players? I'm not sure, but look, I think Geelong will be pretty keen to come out here and stamp their authority early and almost bully them. And you can sort of see they'll probably start with their best set up midfield to go with and make a statement early to get out there and really put an authority on this game. But as I said, they should play this game really well with the width of it, and you can see they'll be able to defend behind the ball, pin the ball in, and I think it's going to be a very hard day for the Eagles.
Well, they rest complacency. Your question, you rest a Jack Henry. But you bring in a Colin Jasny who's similar, but and ultimately experienced as well. They're just so balanced, I find, Geelong, and their ability to continue to bring in a smattering of young players and help them develop at the right time without ever falling off the perch. Yeah. They're as good as anyone in the competition. Today, for me, it's that midfield battle of Harley Reid and Willem Dersma, Baker if he's going through there versus a Bailey Smith and a Max Holmes and Tom Atkins. How can you limit that run and drive from Max Holmes and Bailey Smith and that metres gained on such a on a smaller ground. How do you mitigate that versus giving up shots on goal?
Hear more from both Brett and Ryan in just a moment. There are no late changes for either the Cats or for the Eagles. So Geelong, the expert of the late change, have decided they won't do so today. As we welcome our listeners joining us from around SA and the Northern Territory to Norwood Oval, the first of the final 3 games of Gather Round 2026. It's Geelong taking on the West Coast Eagles. The Eagles in their Gather Round jumper, the throwback to the 2000, 2001 and 2002 seasons. They've got the ochre on West Coast. The Cats in the very traditional blue and white hoops. Clint Wilden alongside Mitch Turner, our experts. A dual premiership player and a Norm Smith medalist in Ryan O'Keefe, and a dual All-Australian and former number 1 draft pick in Brett Bellidio. They're picking apart today for us how this game will be won and lost between the Cats and the Eagles.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a real midfield battle that's going to determine a lot of the outcomes and the way this game is particularly scored. Just watching both teams warm up now in their midfield, it's going to be an interesting matchup. You probably, as an Eagle, looking at someone like Tim Kelly to come up and start showing some leadership and really driving that midfield in there. He obviously knows the Geelong crew pretty well. And then you look on the other side, you mentioned before, Leeds about, they've got some really good balance and depth, and a number of players can run through that.
Yep.
And I think they can bat really deep in the midfield, which is going to be a huge advantage. And then they'll give Big Neil plenty of looks at it. And I think those key forwards, if they're going to make a contest, that's going to be pretty critical. And then obviously Geelong's got a plethora of small, dangerous forwards that'll feast off that. So that's probably where I'll see that as Geelong. If they do get the upper hand in the midfield and win that midfield battle, they won't muck around. They'll get it in there, and I think their smalls are going to feast off the big guys.
Well, they're a bit thin, aren't they, West Coast, in terms of key backs? I mean, I'm surprised that Ruben Jimby can actually fit through the banner with the size of his shoulders. My God, when you're this close to him and see the size of him, he's a big lad, isn't he?
He can give some of it to Willem Dersma, maybe.
Yeah, he could, absolutely. I saw Kingy said that Willem Dersma had to run around the shower to get wet. But he's not far wrong, is he? But I think ultimately, can they stop the supply and stop it from going inside forward 50? But then can their backs, Ruben Jimmy's obviously going to have to play a bit taller, probably play on Jezza today. Tyler Young will take Shannon Neal, you'd think. But if they can get outside of that and get enough supply, going forward to their key targets, and Shanahan and Cooper Duff-Tyler and whoever's playing forward and Waterman, well, they'll challenge, but I just don't know whether they can do it for long enough.
Yeah, look, I think Geelong are going to probably do this comfortably, but what I'll really want to see is the response the Eagles players come out after last week, and whether they show fight. They mightn't win the game today, but if they keep fighting at it and scrapping and show some grit and resilience and don't sort of give up or we see any lapses of giving up, I think that's a positive.
It was their 3rd lowest pressure rating ever last week, the Eagles, for a game. And that was, speaking to Hamish Davis, the youngster during the week on Extra Time in the West, he told us that a lot of the uncomfortable conversations were about work rate and effort earlier in the week.
That's not talent, is it?
No. Yeah. It's desire and it's application. So that's what the big focus was on. So you'd be hoping, as you mentioned, Ryan, that you'd be expecting to see them come out pretty hard and hot and maybe even too overzealous, which would be a better result than not having a crack at all.
I reckon we'll see that in the first quarter. But are they going to do it in the 3rd and 4th? That's the challenge, and that's what the good teams do and experienced teams do. And you can see Geelong's games this year, they've all been pretty tight, so they're used to going the full 4 quarters and going hard. So that's going to be the challenge. And as I said, when you get losses like that, or when you're young, developing, learning, it's about learning. And you probably learn more from when you cop a few hidings than you do when you're just downhill skiing and rolling pretty easy. So look, it's going to be interesting. I'm excited to see this young West Coast team and how they respond, and you sort of know what we're going to get from Geelong.
Yeah, they're experienced performers, aren't they? Have you been on the end of a hiding like what West Coast copped last week? Because I certainly have, and I can't remember when you have, so that's why I asked. It's a bit loaded, that question.
I reckon we remember when you have, Brett.
Yeah, well, everyone. Yeah, it's a lot of times.
We had a couple of bad. We had a bad game against, I think, the
D's. By 7 goals.
The D's. Yeah, it probably was only about that. But the point was, we've had during my time, we had plenty of these, let's shut the doors and let's have these open on conversations. And as a playing group, we actually dropped a couple of players. Yeah. I won't mention names. Yeah. And so they weren't giving us effort. And
made a statement.
Had to make a statement. And players that had all the talent and that, but it comes down to work rate and that sort of thing's not a talent. It's a decision and a choice you want to make. And when you look at on most lists, every player is talented, and what separates the almost there to the good and the great players is the mental aptitude and the way they apply and they drive and they just compete.
Certainly, it's an indication of where these two sides have been at in recent seasons. The Cats have won the past 6 meetings between these clubs. You've got to go back to the COVID era. Round 9 2020 for the Eagles' last win was famously decided a couple of grand finals in the early 90s, 92 and 94, both played between West Coast and Geelong. The Eagles emerged victorious in both of those occasions. Toss of the coin out in the middle, Mitch Turner.
Liam Duggan and Tom Stewart out there. Liam Duggan has won it for the Eagles. They'll kick the left of our broadcast position, the Woodcock and Geelong to the parade end here at Norwood.
Another member of our team. It's good to have him with us here at Norwood. We're hoping the rain stays away for him. Ray Chamberlain's on the boundary. G'day, Ray.
G'day, guys. How are we doing today? What an unbelievably awesome setting. I had the privilege to umpire twice here. It's a unique experience. And the dimensions of the ground, as you've intimated, are not to be underestimated. Looking forward to the game.
Having a look at those benches for us for both sides. For the Cats, it's the Koning, Humphreys, Bowes, Close and Warple. The milestone man in his 150th AFL game, Schoenberg, Duff, Titler, Robertson, which is interesting, Lindsay and Davis. But the Eagles, who we would have thought that Deb Robertson would come back in just to add a little bit of extra size around the centre, they've decided that he's going to start on the bench. We've just watched him run off between the interchange gates directly below us. And again, do expect to hear a bit from the benches beneath us. There's not much we can do. It leaks through our commentary microphones. We are that close to the Eagles bench. To the right of us, the Cats bench. First game of the final day of Gather Round 2026. It's the Cats and the Eagles. To get us started, Gather Round on ABC Sport. Here's Mitch Turner for you.
Edwards for Geelong, Williams for the Eagles in the ruck. Ball goes up, neither got a clear hand to it. Edwards followed up for the Cats. Little handball to Broon, kick inside 50. Neal had to try and take it on the bounce, couldn't. Players crash in just outside half forward for the Cats. The Eagles emerge with it through Allen. Handball over the top to Reid. Running down the outer wing, takes a bounce. Smith trying to chase him down. Reid inside 50 to Waterman, who takes the mark 45 metres out directly in front. And the Eagles have the chance to kick the opening goal in the opening minute here at Norwood Oval.
It's just dangerous when you turn it over. It's those shallow entries. Bruin had a perfect opportunity to hit the top of the square, get those deep entries. I mean,
territory game, is it?
It's a totally territory game, particularly here. So turnover at half-back is absolutely just diabolical.
9-12 this year for Jake Waterman, who is normally a reliable set shot. This is pretty much directly in front. Will kick from just outside 50. Waterman to give the Eagles the perfect start against the Cats. He misses to the right. That was a chance and it's a behind. 1 minute played. The Eagles have the lead. Blow the siren.
They've got the lead with 1 minute and 19 seconds gone on the scoreboard. Holmes. The kick in, long towards left half back. No mark taken. Reid is there for the Eagles. Hand pass away. Stolen by O'Connor. Got it to Broon. Chance to move it forward. Guthrie waited. Dursma didn't. Got it for West Coast. Handed off to Graham. His hand pass got a touch on the way through. Duggan tried to work it out. Cameron stole it away. Shoveled it out towards the commentary wing. Here's Ginby doing well. Spun away from his opponent. Went short. Trying to step back inside is McCarthy. Does get a kick away for the Eagles. Inside forward 50. Flying up, no mark taken. Archer Reid, Shanahan behind him. O'Sullivan will clear for the Cats. Tumbling it towards right half back, but Reid's underneath it, takes the mark, gives it off to Dursma. Dursma sends it long towards goal. He's going to miss the lot. Out of bounds on the full. The Cats will have the free kick from O'Connor at right full back. West Coast with the only score of the game in the opening 2 and a bit minutes. They're up by a behind.
O'Connor goes short, so Sullivan kicks up the wing right in front of our broadcast position. Was looking for Guthrie and it's punched away by Harley Reid.
Jeez, we're close, aren't we?
Yeah.
He really jumped on top of us there.
We're in the game.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I remember the first time I was here for for Fremantle versus Gold Coast. Matt Clinch almost had to mark the footy as it came into the pavilion.
Ball spun back in. Williams to the front. Got it to Reid. Couldn't take it cleanly. Atkins on hands and knees. He's pulled off it. In there, merging was Graham. Got it to Kelly. Kicked straight though to Smith. The Cats try to go again. Holmes tried to weave through traffic. Set a high handball. Reid underneath him. The Eagles tackled to ground by Broon. And the umpire's going to pin him.
Oh, stiff.
Said he had an arm free. Reid holding the ball on the logo. Gets up as Smith runs away for the Cats. Kicks up towards half forward. It bounces out of bounds. And Manor just soccers it into the crowd after the ball goes out of bounds. And what's that? I'm not sure what the free kick is for because the ball was out of bounds inside 50.
No, he kicked it because he kicked the ball away.
Because he kicked it away.
Yeah.
Okay, bit of undisciplined play early by Sean Manor. So the Eagles will have the free kick at left half back. Kicks up towards the wing and good mark by Edwards from the Cats. Outpoints Williams right in front of us here on the broadcast side and steps around. Williams got caught, threw the ball away. He ran into trouble. The young ruckman. Ambition and ability just got a little mixed up on that occasion as McCarthy receives the handball for West Coast. Kicks it straight to Guthrie.
Downfield.
It's a free kick going against Edwards against.
Two mistakes in a row.
Just bumped over McCarthy. It was unnecessary. Got him, and the umpire straight away said no. And McCarthy's a little bit worse for wear. He's going to come off for a breather.
I reckon McCarthy actually ran into him. He didn't actually mean to hit him.
Ball's moved out here in the direction of Owies. So Matt Owies with an early disposal from just forward of the wing. Kicks long towards full forward. Big fly at the back. No mark. Waterman spilled it. Taken by Kolajasny across the behind line. That's going to be deliberate. The ruling under no pressure according to the officials. There's a shot of Chris Scott up on the big screen who's less than impressed. The Eagles through Waterman with an opportunity from a free kick.
Isn't it if you're outside the 10 metres though?
Is it no different than around the boundary line?
Waterman looks to snap. He kicks the goal. The Eagles have got the first.
No, he's missed.
Has he missed?
Narrow.
Goodness me. I missed that completely from my broadcast position. 2 behinds. West Coast 2 behinds. Geelong yet to score. 5 gone in the first.
Out they go. The far side, Geelong through Smith. Could kick up the wing. Dempsey. Turn. Kick further afield. Looking to Cameron on the lead. Long way from home. Takes it on the chest. Does Jez. Myers just slowly trotting forward ahead of him, able to spot a target in Atkins. Kelly stands the mark. He's a kick and a half from home. Cameron kept going, receives the handball, 55 out, looks for a target inside 50. No mark taken, ground level. Lindsay for the Eagles. Got a handball to Brock. Out towards Graham, left back pocket. Has to be precise with a kick and is able to find Shanahan. He's waiting underneath it, takes the mark. Has Hewitt short if he wants him. Chooses to go to that option. Hewitt called to play on. Kicks up the wing, broadcast side, in front Holmes, up against Baker, neither could mark, coming through Kolajasny, spills it. In there is Mullen, he lost it, Baker emerges, handball over the top to Kelly, has Waterman running back towards goal, just needs it to sit, how will it bounce, he can't track it in. It rolls out, hits the behind post, and it'll be a boundary throw-in. Had all the space in the world.
Let's get the ruling from Ray Chamberlain downstairs. What did you make of that decision for the free kick for West Coast, Ray?
Are we referencing the deliberate rush behind,
yes.
So there's a couple of buckets that it can fall into. The first one is if they're outside the 9 and they deliberately force the ball through, that's black and white. The next two relate to time and space, and so what the umpire will have adjudicated there was that the Geelong player had sufficient space. We're looking for 3+ metres. The only thing I would say is the ball was basically over the behind line, so I thought it was pretty tough.
They're doing a score review at the moment for this one to determine whether it hit the behind post for a throw-in or will be another behind for the Eagles. We don't have a great vantage point of the replay here in the box at Norwood.
So back to that, why can't we just make it a simple rule? If you're outside the 9 and you rush it through, it's a free kick. But anything inside, it's okay, because you're giving away a point anyway. Yeah. So it's a bit like the last possession. Let's make it black and white.
No, you're making it an opinion, aren't you?
Yeah,
feel for the game. And
exactly.
We both know where that lands.
A behind is the call after the review. So 3 behinds for the Eagles. Geelong yet to score. We've played 7 minutes in this first term. Gather round footy on ABC Sport.
I thought it was a tough decision. Glad Ray agrees with me. Kicking from the Cats. Long towards left half back. Cameron stretch, couldn't complete the mark. It's gone over the boundary line. This will be a throw-in.
It was a poor kick then to Waterman as well. They had a kick goal there.
Yeah.
Like we overlooked it. We were talking
yeah.
about a lot of things. That was shocking.
Benefit of the doubt with the wind, I think, might have overcarried, but
We might have to have a little look at your microphone there, Ryan. We'll get to that in just a moment. Ball thrown back into play. Lindsay tries to get a hand pass out, ricocheted away. Here goes Myers for the Cats. Works it nicely to Guthrie on the logo on the eastern wing. Moving down towards left half forward, comes to Atkins, kicks inside forward 50. Nicely worked, and Oliver Henry takes the mark deep in the left forward pocket in front of a stacked area of Cats fans. They're all standing up there, really pumped up in that left forward pocket here at Norwood.
Good ball movement there, Clint, wasn't it? That ability to link up. That's going to be the challenge for West Coast today. Can they halt that fast ball movement and precise kicking from Geelong?
You can see Geelong, they work it really nicely along the wings, hit those little hit-ups.
Ollie Henry now from about 45 metres out. Kick is across the face, but it sneaks in for a minor score. So he misses right. First score of the day for Geelong. 1 behind, Eagles 3 behinds, 8.5 gone. Gather round on ABC Sport, on ABC Radio, News Radio and Sport Digital, of course, streaming on the Listen app.
The Eagles bring in quickly through Hoff to Brock. Kick up towards Archer Reid. Knocked away from him. He's gathered. Handball forward to Shanahan. Has Waterman inside 50. Set him a task. Fist from behind. Balls to Schonberg. Runs in on goal. Kicks it through. And gets his first goal for the West Coast Eagles, the former Crow. They've had a couple of cracks. They finally break through, and West Coast 1-3-9 lead the Cats just 1 behind. 9 minutes played. Gather round footy on ABC Sport. Our experts Ryan O'Keefe and Brett Delidio.
It's great to see all the players get around. It was good. They made even the defenders made the journey down there. You can see they're playing with a lot of energy. Yep. Like they're competing. They're running hard. And
they're outnumbering. That's what they did there. Both
exactly
contests.
Right. And so it's exciting to see this. So hopefully they can sustain this.
Yeah, and that's the challenge, isn't it, for a young side and a full 120 minutes of footy, maintaining the rage. But they are outnumbering at the contest there, and Geelong weren't able to get a big spoil away to clear that initial area, and therefore their smalls, Owies, Baker, and Schoenberg got on the end of it.
You love watching, if you're an Eagles fan, you saw a number of the players just leap into the air in joy when he's kicked that goal, including Archer Reid as the Cats win the clearance through Holmes, then Atkins by hand, Humphries racing by, long kick inside forward 50, nice delivery, spills down close, was able to work it away, the snap on goal from Wiltshire misses, and then the audacious attempt. Goodness me, trying to work it back in from Bowes. They're calling for holding the ball with it being locked in. Umpire says no, it's gone across. It's going to be a behind to the Cats. They move to be 2 behinds. The Eagles are 1-3-9. We've travelled 11 minutes into this opening quarter.
Audacious was right.
Lindsay brings the ball back into play for the Eagles, looking for Reid. Atkins got in front, couldn't take the mark, and he goes back after it. Socking the ball forward, straight into close though. Ball's bobbling around, attacking edge of the centre square. Somehow Atkins managed to get a kick rolling in towards the forward 50. Duggan took on the tackler. Smith took him to ground. The umpire generous. Says he'll ball it up.
He had more time than Harley Reid did not long ago.
And this is where you need to reward the tackler, and defensive pressure acts.
Tough Tightler taps it down straight though to Warple for the Cats. Soft to close, kicks inside, and Wiltshire takes the mark. All alone, 15 metres out, slightest of angles to the right.
That was a classy finish, just like not selfish, and just found it beautifully touched.
Great touch, wasn't it? He's had a couple of down weeks, very close. Obviously missed it. Got dropped. Back into the side. Didn't shoot the lights out last week, but repaid the faith and kept him in the side. That was great touch. Hopefully a goal assist.
Ollie Wiltshire, the boy from Barwon Heads. Ball in hand, steps in, kick on goal is good. The Cats respond. They get themselves on the board. 1-2-8. They trail the Eagles 1-3-9. 11.5 minutes played here at Norwood Oval. The final day of Gather Round Footy. All brought to you by ABC Sport.
It was a really nice finish there from young Ollie Wiltshire. I love. He's come into this side as another hard-working high forward. You've got to make the most of your opportunities. I was interested in Sean Manners' comments from after the last week's game. Really disappointed with his whole game and said, "I'll never play another game like that." He said to James Raleigh, the forward coach, that guarantee you that I'll never play a game like that. And that's why I think the frustration came out when he kicked the ball away when he didn't get hit by Bailey Smith earlier in the game.
It's a big statement to say I'd never.
Well, that's exactly right. It's holding yourself pretty accountable, isn't
Exactly right.
The restart. Coney in the middle. Going to win it out here and does so. It's hacked forward out of traffic here for the Cats. Decent battle on towards right half forward. 2-on-2. Duggan goes to ground. Shovel it out. Oh, Close has had his head taken off. Bo's got a hand pass out. Close going forward. Got knocked around the head. He'll get the free kick, and rightly so. He'll have it about 52 from goal at right half forward. Looks to centre the football towards the teeth of goal. They come from everywhere. At the back, Neil handed it off. Snap on goal, misses from the right forward pocket from Dempsey. Tried to work it with the outside of the boot to curl it around. Couldn't find the major opening. Minor score again. Scores are level. 1-3-9 apiece between the Cats and the Eagles. 13 gone in the opening term. Gather round on ABC Sport.
Lindsay, short kick in to McCarthy. Goes inside the middle of the 50 to Brock, not 15. Called to play on back to McCarthy. Kick was a little hot for his teammate. End up getting from Hoff to Kelly. They go right out the right back side here. Off half back through Duggan. Kicks down the outer wing. Good mark. Taken in front by O'Sullivan. They want to move it quickly again. Now to Cameron on that eastern side, right in front of the punters who are packed in on the wing, standing up, enjoying their work.
He's definitely playing very high, Cameron.
Yeah.
Obviously going to try and work up and work back, but he's getting a lot of his play up on the wing.
Went short to Humphreys, wanted it back, was ignored. Humphreys now goes long to left side forward, and
there's one.
There's one out on the full. Keep track.
Yep.
It went a little wide. Maybe it's just a...
Oh, no.
The Cardinia Park curse might not be enough. They kick it inside. It's turned over, run on goal, and that would have been one to get him going.
Yes.
Sean Manor, and the frustration might continue. Kicks it behind. 1-4-10 Geelong, 1-3-9 the Eagles. Cats in front by a point.
Harley Reid just spent a long time on the phone to the coach's box directly below us. The kick comes towards the commentary wing. Here's Schonberg. Bounces off an attempted tackle. Looks to hand it off. This is Robertson. Kicks to a sliding and marking Archer Reid. Plays on by hand immediately to Kelly. Running by the former Cat. Goes towards right half forward. 51 out from goal. It's marked by Waterman.
He certainly got this in his leg after watching him play at Adelaide Oval a couple of weeks ago. He's a monster kick with the breeze.
That was a cannon, wasn't it?
Yeah. I love the hit-up work of young Archer Reid there. Take the mark around centre of the ground, but want to move the ball on quickly again to the runners going past. Just gives your forward such a greater opportunity to get separation from their backman.
2 behinds to his name so far today, Jake Waterman. This is going to have to travel about 57. 45-degree angle out to the right. He's certainly got the distance. It's on its way. Not to be. Missing to the right-hand side. Another minor score. Scores level again. 1-4-10 apiece between the Cats and the Eagles. 16 gone in the first.
That makes it 9-15 for Jake Waterman this season. And Stewart's long kick out looking for O'Sullivan was set at task. He reeled it in before the boundary, but was taken over by Archer Reid. Will ball it up just outside left half forward for the Eagles. The Oka Guernsey looks terrific, in my opinion.
Numbers not so much. They're a bit hard to read.
Yeah, not sure about the red numbers.
I'm willing to make the sacrifice. The ball's tossed back in over the back of the two rucks. Coming through Brew. Gave the handball across to Manor. High kick up the wing. Close underneath it. Outpointed. Oh, the rookie in Josh Lindsay took a nice mark in the bright orange boots. Kicks back up towards half forward. Looking for Archer Reid. Big fist by O'Sullivan. Collar Jasny taps it towards Dempsey, who's tackled immediately. They go to ground and they'll ball it up.
That was really impressive there from Lindsay. He got pushed over by Jack Bowes earlier. I thought, oh, that's a first-year player, but they're just to outpoint Brad Close. Really well done.
Throw it aloft. One down here by De Koning. Out to Graham, though. Graham tackled. Got a hand pass out. Close affecting the tackle. Wrapped up his opponent in Hoff, looking to work his way through. Another ball up.
They're competing well, West Coast, so I think they're getting their hands on it. They're doing really, really well.
From left half forward. One down here by Duff Titler. Comes out for the Eagles to Kelly. 51 from goal. Wobbles a kick towards goal. Going up, Archer Reid couldn't mark. Oh, he's over the top of it. De Koning gathered. Got a hand pass away through traffic. Stolen again by the Eagles. Comes back here for a shot from Lindsay, a centering kick, and then marking. That was coolly done by Dempsey, surrounded by players. The ball almost coming in from over his left shoulder. He marks between fullback and centre halfback. Score still level, 17 gone in the opening term. This is Gather Round on ABC Sport.
And out the eastern side by Dempsey, worked his man underneath it. Wiltshire took the mark, played on, kick up the wing. Didn't favour a teammate at all. Jimby out to meet of a West Coast. Did well. Little handball to Brock, who steps around the tackler, runs into the second. Just spit off a bit more than he could chew, the big fella.
Yeah, you got one, but not two.
Holding the ball, Henry takes the kick, kicks towards the left, half-forward, going back. Wiltshire can't take the mark. It spills out, it stays in. Jinby, he slides in, takes possession. The Eagles are able to repel. Dersma finds a bit of space, gathers on the bounce, kicks up the wing, and Waterman a long way from home. Knows a big kick. This is much too far for him. Kicks into the centre circle. Hewitt can receive. Handball to Hoff, running pass. Has a lead inside forward 50. Short pass and finds the lead of Owies, who takes it down low and will go back and have the set shot from directly in front. Will kick from outside 50.
What's impressive, the Eagles, their forward line and their forward movement. They're getting up, they're getting back, and the Geelong defenders aren't getting enough body on them and getting lost. And they're lowering their eyes and honouring that on that lead. And they've been really impressive how they've kept the Geelong defence guessing, shifting, moving.
Had a tough game last week. First game of the season, just the 5 touches. Didn't impact the scoreboard.
Not many did.
It's copped a bit of criticism from the Eagles faithful, Matthew Owies, but the set shot is on the way. Will it get there? Yes! He likes it too, Matthew Owies. He repays the faith to the coaches for selecting him this week. He gets his first goal of the season. The Eagles go back ahead, 2-4-16. They lead Geelong 1-4-10, 6-point margin. Almost 19 minutes played in the first term. Our experts for ABC Sport, Ryan O'Keefe and Brett Deletio.
Yeah, he started well as a small forward. He's been at the drop of the ball a number of times. And that's just good reward for effort in terms of making Tom Stewart accountable. You spoke about the back line of the Cats, Rock, in terms of what haven't been able to solidify and get together and work together. It's because the Eagles have been able to cut them up through the midfield, and they've just got too much time and space. All well and good to have your weapons going good downhill, but you've got to go back uphill at times as well.
Exactly, and they're getting a lot of run and run off half-back as well, so obviously the talk about work rates paying off.
And the restart, one down here by Edwards. Went straight to Harley Reid, takes a bounce. Goes on a little run and then kicks towards left half forward. That's nicely measured, the foot pass to Davis. He's got it about 55 from goal. Wheels onto his right. Sends it to the teeth of goal for West Coast. Coming out, Shanahan couldn't mark. Spilled out to Edwards. Gave it to De Koning. A chance for Guthrie to measure the kick towards Smith, who marks hard up against the boundary, deep in the right back pocket. The Eagles by 6. We're into time on in the first.
Wants to go the switch. Bailey Smith does so to the left back pocket. O'Sullivan can mark and roll immediately. Goes to the outer side. The kick is too far. And it's out of bounds. It'll come back in. Free kick. Trying to be taken by Dersma. He gave it to Schomburg, who now has been instructed to give it back to Dersma. So the number 1 pick has ball in hand.
I would never have given that ball. I would have taken it. Yeah, it's mine.
100%. It's a free stat.
He'll learn that.
Dersma off a step. Bombs it inside the forward 50. Waterman from behind. De Koning got a fist in. Knocked it towards the boundary. Guthrie gathered it and is happy to take the contact and be taken out of bounds and force a throw in. 15 metres around from the Eagles' goal. Right forward pocket.
As I said, look, West Coast are actually defending behind the ball really well here, and the Cats are struggling to get it out of their back half.
Ball spun back in. There's Bailey J against Edwards. Edwards at the back, won it down for the Cats, and then taken by Bowes, who's wrapped up immediately. It's amazing the impact that Ted Lasso has had. Just a shot on the big screen here of an Eagles fan with "Believe" on a sign, holding it up for hoping his players can do something like that. They win it down here. Here's Dersma. Got a hand pass away. Nicely done to Duff Tightler. Centre's kick. Shanahan is underneath it, but wanting it more. That's a good Mark O'Sullivan. What a player he's turning out to be in these early stages of his career. Attack the footy. Good mark between fullback and centre half back. Dangerous kick. Just trying to go up the middle. Might work out okay. It came from Mullen and then to Myers. Sweeping hand pass out to Smith on the eastern wing.
Smith kicks towards left half forward, looking for a target in front. Wiltshire couldn't take the mark. Henry at the back. There's a free kick as a number of players went down.
Silly by Neil.
Going the way
didn't
of
need
the
to
Eagles.
Do it. Yeah, didn't need to do it. I reckon we might see a different second quarter, though. I reckon the Breeze is playing a fair bit of havoc out there.
Tyler Young, the recipient. He goes a little wider down the outer side, the eastern side of this ground to Hoff. That left shoulder strapped up, the white boots. He kicks it straight into the man of the mark, coming across in Edwards, who did well to knock it out of bounds. Big man active. He made a little mistake earlier, trying to make up for it.
I don't know how you kick it into a ruckman.
Yeah.
They're
Step him every day of the week, don't you?
They're pretty big. You saw you give yourself enough room.
Ball spun back in. Edwards is in this ruck contest with Bailey Williams. It comes down. Harley Reid tackled. Dispossessed. Kelly in there. Tackled by Broon. Ball almost came out through Manor, who does look very hungry today to have an impact. Determined not to play a bad game today or ever again. Ball up in the air. Williams went up against Edwards. Edwards took it out of the ruck and was taken high. Free kick going the way of the Cats on centre wing. Eastern side of the ground. Handball across to O'Connor. Kicks it inside 50. Can the Cats find a mark? Yes, they can. Neal stuck up the two arms and reeled it in. Good set of mitts. And he'll go back with a set shot about 25, 30 metres out.
Well, each time Geelong have attacked that deep entry about 20 or 30 metres out of top of it, they've been dangerous. They've had shots on goal, whether it's from Mark like that, Neil then or the Crumbs. So I think they've probably been a little bit disappointed not being able to get enough forward entries and giving their forwards enough service.
The 23-year-old from Perth, probably a little young for this Guernsey. Now playing for the Cats. Kicks it through the middle of the goals. Fist pumps as well. Geelong able to level the scores again. 2-4-16 the Cats, so too the West Coast Eagles. 23 and a half gone in the first term. Bit of an overcast day here at Norwood Oval, but it's great to have Gather Round Footy on ABC Sport.
Well, he's a quick learner, Mitch Edwards. You don't try and dance when you are 6'11". Just give the quick handball off, which gave them access to that top of the goal square through Mark O'Connor just running off. And as we said at the top of the broadcast, is that was where they're going to stretch him with Neil and Cameron down there. They are a bit thin down back. He just stood tall, didn't he, Shannon Neal?
Yeah.
He should be, if they get enough entries and get it in there and give him a look, he's going to catch a lot of ball today.
Oh, I think so. Or at least bring it down and let Manham, these small forwards be able to
get on the end of it.
Be able to feast off it. So I just think Geelong probably have lacked that penetration.
Inside 50s 12-9 to West Coast, but as we saw last night, the scoring end is the Woodcock end, to the left of our broadcast position. The Cats will get the clearance through the middle. Bruin moving it off to Atkins, hands it now to Bailey Smith. What was a kick forward? He got dealt with after he got the kick away. It's going to come back here for a free kick for the Cats.
That's unnecessary. Absolutely unnecessary.
Is it Baker who gave that away?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've never understood this, the pushing after. It's like you either tackle them or you just let it go.
Yeah, the kick was well gone.
Frustrate me no end. Players did that.
So Bailey Smith, for his second goal of the season, he's given it plenty. Will it have the carry? It does! He was kicking into the breeze as well. Was able to get enough behind it to see it go all the way. And the Cats, they hit the lead. They're out by a goal. 3-4-22 to the Eagles, 2-4-16. 25 and a bit gone in the opening term. Gather round on ABC Sport, on ABC Radio, News Radio, Sport Digital, and streaming on ABC Listen. Clint Wilden alongside Mitch Turner, our experts, Ryan O'Keefe and Brett Delidio.
That's just unexcusable, especially from an experienced player.
From your captain.
Yeah, and what I've watched, they've all given him high fives. And that should be, hey, mate, you've let us down.
You owe us one.
You owe us one. That's not good enough. Not, a pat on the back or anything like that. That's mediocrity. And if you want to teach some young developing players, it's got to take responsibility for that, particularly from one of your older players.
Well, if he gets dragged, you can tell him. He'll be about 3 feet away, Ryan. So we might be able to give him some feedback ourselves.
It doesn't happen anymore.
Ball back in the middle. Comes out of the way, Geelong. Broon. Set a task for Mullen. Tackled, knocked off it. In there is Harley Reid for the Eagles. Taken high. Yes, free kick. This one goes his way. Harley kicks towards half forward. Wasn't a great kick. O'Connor was able to get back, knock it away. Dersmer at ground level. He's tackled. Has an arm free there. That's not paid. Umpire happy to ball it up. 55 metres around from the Eagles' goal.
That was great from O'Connor. He's outnumbered 2-1 and was just desperate. Just get a hand in the spoil and follow up with a tackle.
Ball tossed up. Williams v Edwards. Neither got a decisive tap. Reid trying to break away for the Eagles and was wrapped up. I'll go again. These two rucks. Lock up. Tapped away by Edwards through traffic. Atkins. Another little clearing kick. Couldn't find her teammates. Rolling down the outer side. Brock there to meet it. Gave it straight back to the Cats, though. Henry. Handball over to Smith. Running with the hair flowing in the breeze. 55 metres out. Kicks inside the 50. Just down low. Not paid the mark on the half volley. just took the turf beforehand and he's wrapped up. The umpire will ball it up 30 metres out from the Cats' attacking goal. They lead by 6 points.
Right call. He just bounced in front of Cameron. Thrown up inside their forward 50. Neil does the ruck work. Comes out the back in the direction of Manor. The Eagles look to try to emerge with it here. McCarthy was over it. Gets it back eventually from Duggan. McCarthy tumbles a kick beyond defensive 50, but into the running lap of Bailey Smith. Was running with the flight of the football. It dropped over his shoulder. He was able to mark it and go back and have a shot from about 49 metres out. 45-degree angle to the left. Instead, doesn't shoot. It stabs it short and it's onto the chest of Mark O'Connor.
There's about 6 Eagles players just standing there like witches' hats, and O'Connor just slotted in, and then no one wanted to take any responsibility for him.
You see that a lot with young sides, don't you? That it's like no one takes responsibility. Oh, I'm sort of in the right spot and I'm filling a hole, but there's no point guarding grass.
That's the dangerous thing about zoning defences. It's like, I'm here, I've got my space. There's no accountability for a player that comes through into that space.
With the greatest of respect, Mark O'Connor is not a noted goal kicker, has 10 goals in 151 games, but he's changed that today. Gets an opportunity and nails it. His first of the season. Irish eyes are smiling at an overcast Norwood Oval. Geelong, they jump out to a 2-goal lead. 4-4-28 to the Eagles 2-4-16. 29 gone in the opening term. This is Gather Round on ABC Sport. Our experts, Brett Delidio and Ryan O'Keefe.
That's probably 2 goals in a row now that are very much stoppable. Yep. Definitely stoppable. That silly free kick, and then there's poor marking through there. And then Geelong, they're a good side. They're going to make you pay. So just those little lapses of concentration that hopefully it doesn't start snowballing effect and they get a run on the Cats.
Can they maintain the rage? Well, it's been questioned at the moment. Late until quarter, first quarter.
From County Kerry to Norwood Oval. Sure he dreamed of as a kid. Back in Ireland. Playing against the Eagles in the Ochre Guernsey. Ball back in the middle. It's bobbling around. Reed in there for the Eagles. Got a nice handball off the deck towards Graham. Can send them inside forward 50. Big pack flies. Shanahan in the front. Couldn't mark. Baker. Rose. Dribbles. Goals. He owed him one, the co-captain, and he got it back for them. The Eagles hit back after 3 straight goals to the Cats. They get their third. 3-4-22 West Coast. Geelong are 4-4-28. Margin back to 6 points. Just over a minute and a half left to play here in the first term at Norwood Oval.
Just emphasises the centre bounce clearance. Kick a long, deep entry, and then your small, dangerous forwards can feast off a crumb. So it's a pretty simple game. When you boil it down, sometimes I think we make it all too complicated.
You asked for him to 0-1 back. He's done exactly that, Liam Baker. Yep. Well done. Great spot. He just got to a good spot, but you're right. The clearance is what's key here. You get it out of the middle of the ground and get it deep. You just get looks. So well done to Liam Baker, getting one back for his side after giving one away, one to Bailey Smith just recently.
Geelong lead the clearance is 10-6 at this point in time to try to win it out of the middle. It was Bailey J who went back to Kelly, then to McCarthy. Kelly again. He's lost his boot as he got the kick away. It's gone almost as far as the ball did. The Cats have numbers around it. Dempsey got it originally. Hand off to Bailey Smith. Tackled by Owies. Good tackle. No prior, but wrapped up beautifully. Well done, Matt Owies.
The only player I've seen do that is Relton Roberts. He never used to do his laces up.
Relton Roberts. Now, that's a throwback. Edwards wins it down. Came though to McCarthy again, puts the Eagles inside forward 50. Shanahan, hand pass over the top, slapped away by O'Sullivan. Schoenberg missed it first time, had time to gather. Dangerous hand pass. O'Connor's able to run onto it, works it off to Dempsey. Bursting through, Smith gathers, it was left for him. He was grateful to receive it inside forward 50. Young good mark over the top of Henry, and that's a great diving slips catch from Duggan. Now, I thought that was marked.
20.5.
No, surely not. Umpire saying it's not the distance. I swear that was 1.5 and 2 was marked. 20. Interesting. Nonetheless, it's going to be balled up inside the Cats forward 50.
How long left? Everyone catch that. Ball tossed up in the air. Williams taps it down. Young in there. Tries to burst away if the Eagles wrapped up. If you can't hear the Eagles players blow us, screaming there's 20 seconds left. I know who. We'll find out who Bozo is. Ball up in the air again. Williams to the Eagles, tapped it down. Holmes through traffic. Handball forward. Couldn't find Henry. Was dealt with late, though. Oh. Another one. And he'll get the free kick. This one, I think, is going against maybe Harley Reid. Look at the reaction. That's a free kick going away. going the way of Henry because it'll be downfield, even though it was only about 2 metres away.
And Bailey Smith's claimed it.
He wasn't even near the play.
No, he wasn't. He was next to Max Holmes.
So Henry had the ball. Smith's come across and grabbed it.
We're playing a physical game. That is ridiculous.
There is a Harley tax, I'm convinced of it.
That's like
both ways.
Both ways,
Yep.
So Bailey Smith, after the siren, the chance to kick a second. He will love this. If he can get it to go through, he won't like that. That's a bit of a floater and a helicopter out to the left. It will register a minor score. And that'll take the scores at the break to 4-5-29 for the Cats. The Eagles 3-4-22, a 7-point lead the way of Geelong.
Having a look at the goal kickers for the Cats. They're all individuals. Bailey Smith, Oliver Wiltshire, Shannon Neal and Mark O'Connor. While for the West Coast Eagles, also all individuals. They're 3 goal kickers. Baker, Owies and Schonberg. So at quarter time, 4-5-29 the Cats. The Eagles are 3-4-22. We'll get the thoughts of our experts in Ryan O'Keefe and Brett Delidio in just a moment. Wherever you're listening, though, on ABC Radio, News Radio, Sport Digital and streaming on the ABC Listen app, this is Gather Round on ABC Sport.
Okay, ready?
Little listeners have a new space to get all their favourite podcasts. Like exclusive new episodes of Bluey Listen Along.
Let's dance to celebrate!
Create a kids profile today by heading to the Kids tab on the ABC Listen app.
On ABC Sport, this is the 2026 AFL Gather Round, live from South Australia.
Rock kick up towards Archery, knocked away from him. Owies gathered. Handball forward to Shanahan. Has Waterman inside 50, set him a task. Fist from behind, balls to Schonberg, runs in on goal, kicks it through, and gets his first goal for the West Coast Eagles, the former Crow. Waterman, a long way from home, knows a big kick. This is much too far for him. Kicks into the centre circle. Hewitt can receive. Handball to Hoff, running past. Has a lead inside forward 50. Short pass, and finds the lead of Owies. Matthew Owies, but the set shot is on the way. Will it get there? Yes! He likes it too, Matthew Owies.
Cats will get the clearance through the middle. Bruin moving it off to Atkins. Hands it now to Bailey Smith. Wobbles a kick forward. He got dealt with after he got the kick away. He's going to come back here for a free kick. Bailey Smith, for his second goal of the season. He's given it plenty. Will it have the carry? It does! He was kicking into the breeze as well.
Ball back in the middle. It's bobbling around. Reed in there for the Eagles. Got a nice handball off the deck towards Graham. Can send them inside forward 50. Big pack flies. Shanahan in the front. Couldn't mark. Baker, Rose, dribbles, goals. He owed him one, the co-captain.
The 2026 AFL Gather Round.
On your radio,
ABC Sport Digital and ABC Listen.
It's the Cats who lead at quarter time, 4-5-29 to the Eagles 3-4-22, but it has been a much better performance by West Coast at the early stages of this game than we saw from them last week. They're in the ochre, but they've hardly been mediocre. Let's get the thoughts of our experts, Ryan O'Keefe and Brett Delidio on ABC Sport.
Yeah, they've had an impressive start, the Eagles, and you can see that they've come, they work rate, and they're competing, they're getting their hands on the ball. There's probably just a couple of goals which are very stoppable towards the end, and they let Geelong. But
Ill-discipline.
Yeah, just those little things. So, but besides that, they've been very, very super impressive, and they're giving it to Geelong. And I think Geelong too are probably overused the ball a little bit with their hands, and then the Eagles have brought the heat and the pressure. So, look, the challenge is let's worry about this quarter for them. I think that's what the coaching staff would be saying. Let's just worry about these next 30-odd minutes or whatever the quarter's going to be, and let's keep bringing the pressure, keep bringing what we're doing.
I think ultimately it is a clearance game, isn't it, Rock, in terms of being able to win it out of the middle and get it going forward. But you're right. I feel like there's good pressure initially from West Coast, and they've obviously changed their attitude in that sense. They did have the wind in that quarter, so you'd expect them to be there or thereabouts. Can they maintain the rage going into the win when it is a bit more challenging? And, the Cats will press up hard and try and lock it in there forward 50. They'll get better value for money with their kicks, being able to, get it deeper and get it in there. But in saying that, when you've ever played with the wind, you don't want to allow the wind just to try and do everything for you. You've still got to use the footy, and make sure that you're going forward and capitalising on that. I think the midfield, Bailey Smith, he's just running amok in there at the moment. He had the 10 touches already in the first quarter. Could have had 2 goals.
352 metres gained in the win.
You can just see his work rate, though. He's up and back and up and back. He's a running machine out there. He just keeps working. And for any young midfielder out there, just watch Bailey Smith, his work rate and what he's doing. And there's no secret sauce to it.
No, it's all work rate.
It's all work rate. The more times you go to the well, the more times you're going to have a drink.
Yeah.
So Smith has 10 touches for the Cats, Atkins with 9, Broome with 7, and then 6 for O'Sullivan, Dempsey and Holmes. For the Eagles, Tom McCarthy has 9, Kelly has 7, and then 6 apiece for Duggan, Harley Reid and Josh Lindsay. The clearance count is, I'll go down, 11-8 the way of Geelong, the inside 50s, 14-12 the way of the Eagles, but the Cats have 6 marks inside 50 from those 12 entries compared to the Eagles 2. The hit-out count 11-9 Geelong's way, and the tackle count also going the Cats' way 20-14. Disposals dead apiece, 87 each, both sides.
17 degrees at the moment. It's been overcast since we arrived about an hour before the start of play. Lights have been on that entire time, but still terrific crowd has rolled in, sold out, almost impossible to get a ticket to this game. We're sold out in the blink of an eye. There's a lot of Cats fans in. You can see the blue and white hoops every part of the ground, and certainly the Sir Edwin T. Smith Pavilion, which is to the right of our broadcast position, the parade end or the southern end of the ground, absolutely chock-a-block with Cats supporters. And they're liking what they're seeing with their team in front. And Eagles fans that have made the trek across from the west, across the Nullarbor, they'd also be buoyed by the performance of their young side. But the Cats are now kicking with the breeze, and we saw it had a major impact last night. How will the Eagles be able to hang on? Let's find out. Second term underway. Williams wins it down for the Eagles, but straight to Atkins. Got taken high by Kelly. No call from the umpire. Hand pass out inside forward 50. Coming the other way was Stewart, and Stewart has been pinged for holding the ball. Looked to attack the football. Surprised that there wasn't a free kick given. A bit of play then by Robertson. Moves it to Kelly. Kelly goes long towards full forward. Too long. He's missed to the left-hand side. It goes through for a minor score. Behind to the Eagles brings us back to a goal. 32 seconds gone. Second term.
Holmes can go short to O'Connor. Keeps running. Gets the handball back. Does Max Holmes. This is what he loves to do. Kicks up the wing. Kelly in front. Almost got it for the Eagles. Guthrie spoiled it away. Eventually went back and got it. Trying to feed it to a teammate who's set upon by a couple of Cats. At the bottom of all of that was Duff Tytler. It comes out to Holmes. Kicks it up the wing for Geelong. Robertson leads the race back for the Eagles. Retreats by hand to Brock. Puts a couple of steps on. Kicks towards half forward. Baker was the target. Not the guy you want to be looking for. At half forward, it's taken by Mullen, who could handball across to Holmes. And now the switch is on for the Cats. Out to the outside. Kolajasny can gather and handball to Myers.
So Myers on the eastern wing. Kicks towards Dempsey, who marks and then tumbles across the boundary line. Hung onto the footy. He'll look to put it inside forward 50. Into the right forward pocket for the Cats it goes. Cameron couldn't keep it in. The pressure came from the side from Brock. It's over between where the new electronic scoreboard is and the old style one as well. In the right forward pocket at the northern end of the ground.
Eagles have done really well by blocking the middle of the ground and the corridor in their forward 50.
Cats still by 6. Early stages second term. Thrown back in. Reid gathers for West Coast. Kicks long towards the eastern wing to Koning. Worked it towards the boundary line, and O'Sullivan's done well enough to disguise that. Cleverly done. Under pressure, just takes it across the line for a throw-in.
Do you like the move of Max Holmes to half-back? Do you like him there?
Yeah, he's been really good, I think. I think he's looking to run and drive. I love having good ball users off half-back that can run and be really dangerous.
Ball spun back in on the outer side. Williams to the front for the Eagles. Took the ball out of the ruck. Was tackled by De Koning, and they'll reset again. He's up just behind this stoppage at the moment. Max Holmes standing next to Elijah Hewitt. Ball back up in the air. Williams out of the ruck. Had a fresh area by boot. Allowed Warple to get it to a teammate. They go forward. The Cats straight onto the chest, though, of Baker. Can send the Eagles back forward. Going back with courage. Great mark by Mullen. Inside the centre square. Couldn't see what was coming. Went back anyway. The kick from Guthrie after receiving the handball. A little wide for O'Connor. And it's off hands and out of bounds.
That's one of the toughest acts in footy, I think, when you're going back like that. You just don't know a key forward's coming out, and you just got...
He's lucky he was a first-year player, I think.
Yeah, just head over, eyes for the ball.
Got a great view of this. Boundary umpire right in front of us. Tosses it back in. Williams to the front. Koning over the top. Tapped it towards Atkins. He was dispossessed. Dersma copped a solid hit from O'Connor. In the contest, he'll receive the free kick for a high tackle. Just a shoulder to the chin of the number one pick. Could have been ugly. Gets away with it, though. Gets to his feet, takes the free kick, kicks towards half forward. Waterman's the target, can't mark. Good fist from Guthrie at ground level. Atkins takes it, gives it to Smith, who can go to Broon.
And Broon's hand pass straight into Dersma, spills back towards the boundary line off him. It's going to be a ball in. If you ever question the courage of footballers, you should come to one of these games at Norwood. You hear the thwack, you see how hard they hit. You're a long way back from, well, the third deck, the top tier, level 6 at Perth Stadium. Outstanding courage shown by everybody. Eagles win it down to Kelly, to Baker, sweeps a hand pass forward to Robertson, kicks around the body onto the chest of Schoenberg, who marks 45-degree angle, 50 out from goal. He won't go for goal himself. He measures a kick across half forward to Kelly, marking at the top of the 50-metre arc. 6 points the difference. Geelong in front. 4 minutes gone.
He had a sider, didn't he, earlier in this quarter? Didn't quite make the distance on the run. It'll take his best into the wind here.
Oh, it does. The ball, once the ball gets up there near the stand, it holds up. You can see those trees blowing pretty strong.
He's taking a long run up here. The former Cat himself, Tim Kelly, played 48 games in the hoops. Oh. Runs out to the right. He's trying to give it too much. Might work out okay. It was a wobbly-looking kick into the right forward pocket, and the Eagles have marked through Dersma.
Beautiful pass.
Yeah.
Laced him out. Silver service.
There's a wounded duck, wasn't it? He tried to get the absolute belly of the ball to get the most amount of distance on it, but, well, as you said, silver service. They don't draw pictures.
Flower bags are flowing better. Doesn't matter when it ends up in the hands of one of the good ball users at the club. The number one draft pick with the number one on his back, Willem Dersma. In front of all the Cats fans in the pavilion. He kicks towards the parade and he puts it through. That's a great goal from a tight angle. And West Coast draw things level at the 5 and a bit minute mark of the second term. Lovely pass from Tim Kelly into the right forward pocket.
Goal assist.
For Dersma to deliver. Ah, goodness me. 4-5-29 apiece. We've got a game on our hands here at Norwood between the Cats and the Eagles. 5.5 gone in the second.
He just moves well, Dersma, doesn't he? Beautiful skills. But I'd see someone like this on the wing and maybe flashbacks of a Peter Matera. Just lovely ball use and run out on the wing. But, yeah, look, as I said, you can just see the intensity and the work rate that the Eagles are bringing to this game. So it's good to see. Geelong going to have to start stepping it up, and you know
they're overusing it a bit, in my opinion.
Yeah, they are. They're giving it too much of that hand, and it's a small ground like this, when you overuse the hand, especially that forward handball, you run into trouble.
Peter Matera, it's a big name to be compared to. Did his best work against the Cats from the middle. A free kick. Harley Reid takes the advantage, shrugs off a tackler, takes a bounce, kicks towards the top of the goal square, and going back, dropping the mark was Colin Jasny, but it's safely off hands over the line. Rush behind. That'll put the Eagles in front, though. 4-6-30, the Eagles. Geelong, 4-5-29.
And immediately on the attack, the Cats out to the eastern wing. And whoa! Over he goes, Bose. Freak is going the way of the Eagles here. He went leaping over the top like a high jumper. Over the fence and into the crowd. They're okay, and so is he. Fortunate for everybody as the Eagles, with the free kick, move it short. This is Robertson, a former line. Takes a step onto the right boot. Kicks inside the attacking 50. Big fly up. Duff Tytler was there and Shanahan. Goes through Dempsey, gathered for the Cats, and he's tackled to ground. Oh, he's got him. Good defending from West Coast. They'll try to lock the ball inside their forward 50. 7 gone in this second term. Eagles by a point. 4-6 plays 4-5. Ball back in dispute after it was thrown up by the umpire. Only Jay Williams up against De Koning. Put up into the air. Spilled down. Robertson's underneath it. Tackled there by Dempsey again. Still inside forward 50 for the West Coast Eagles.
He battles hard in the ruck, Williams, doesn't he? Sort of just competes. Yes.
Yeah, so I got brought in. They just wanted a bit of a contest. He did his best on this occasion. Came out, though, through Warple. Now to Humphreys. Out to Holmes. Goes by hand down the wing. Out of side. Broon to close. They're doing it all by hand, the Cats here. Off to Bowes, takes a bounce, now kicks inside the forward 50. Can they find a mark over the head of Cameron? Dersma's all the way back there for the Eagles. Had a fumble, now goes back in. And able to work it across the boundary line. Took it at both ends, Willem Dersma. Getting back and helping out the back line as well as kicking goals. The ball will be tossed back in. 10 metres around from Geelong's attacking goal. Neil did the ruck work, tapped it into the path of Warple. Had a bit of space, got it onto the left boot, snapped towards goal. He's got it, he loves it in the milestone game. James Warple in game 150 kicks goal number 50. His first for the club. And that puts them back in front. Great goal by Warple. Had a lot of space. Jumps on the left. Wasn't the prettiest of kicks, but it got the job done. 5-5-35 to Cats. The Eagles 4-6-30. 5-point lead restored. 9 minutes played in the second term. Ryan O'Keefe and Brett Delidio, our experts on ABC Sport.
I think he was shocked at how much time and space he had. He had way more than he thought. I think he got it. He was expecting the pressure. That's why it was sort of a bit of a duff kick. He goes, I'm about to get tackled here.
Surely I'm about to get tackled.
Yeah, hang on. Oh, no.
No, I'm not. I'm 20 metres out from goal and I'm not being tackled. What the hell? And Minnie McWalter would be asking the exact same thing.
Exactly right. And that's those little things, like, you know, any defensive 50 stoppage, number one things, don't get scored against. Be really ruthless, be really, really gritty.
Cats back in front by 5. In the middle, Edwards punches it forward for the Cats, and Bruin, beautifully stepped inside McCarthy. Render 49 metres out, sends it long but misses. Minus score at best.
Please don't review this.
It's gone over the top of the right-hand behind post.
It is close, I suppose.
Yeah.
You got to check everyone.
They are going to check.
Yeah. I love seeing a midfielder burst out of the centre bounce.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Well, I just love to see him finish their work. He just got squeezed at the last minute, which pushed that ball wide.
Call from the boundary umpire and the goal umpire was a behind.
Used to happen a bit at the SCG, I reckon. The smaller 50s.
Is that why Ryan used to burst out of the middle occasionally?
I wasn't bursting anywhere.
Ryan didn't come to mind. When
I was thinking of Nathan Foley.
Axel Foley was very good at it. Yeah, 07, 08. He was very, very good at it.
Yeah. Speed wasn't my gift, mate.
Score review. We're about to find out officially what it was. Umpire's call, which means it is a behind. It was impossible to tell from the angle anyway. And the grey clouds weren't helping in any respect.
It was never going to help, really.
So the Cats, they extend their lead to a goal. 5-6 to 4-6, 11 gone in the second.
Nice kick by McCarthy. Had a full back for West Coast. Found Hoff on the paint of 50. No one stood the mark, so he takes off. Plays on, kicks up. Shanahan coming across. Nice set of hands, takes the mark. Knocked out. They want 50, the Eagles fans.
That's as 50 as a ball. That's more than a stand.
And now they have paid 50, and no one manned the mark, so it could have been for not stand. It could have been for knocking it out of the hands. Could have been for protected area. Ray Chamberlain will have to ask you. Ray, do you know what that one was for?
Yeah, the umpire actually paid it for the player running off the mark and not standing after he called him. Yeah.
There you have it. So
the worst rule in the game.
The stand rule?
The stand rule. It should have been 50 for the knockout of the hands. Like, that's what it should have been.
So he missed one and then got one.
Yeah, that was the payback.
I actually like it. Now I feel bad for trying to lie and say you were really fast. Joe Shanahan walks into 30 metres out, set shot, makes no mistake. The Eagles fans who have come to Norwood Oval, they cheer. They love this young man. He ties the scores up again, 5-6, 36 apiece. 12 minutes played in the third term. Dual All-Australian. Brett Delidio on the coverage with us. So too, Norm Smith medalist Ryan O'Keefe.
It was a nice finish there from Shanahan. I feel like it was Guthrie who was playing on him at the time. Just misread it with the wind. It sort of fell short, and he had the run of the play. Shanahan, once he gets his chance to extend, he's got a great set of hands.
Yeah, he does, doesn't he? He's a very likely type. Moves well for that size, and their forwards have been really impressive today. They've moved well, they've presented, and they've got the Dukes up.
They haven't really got in each other's way, which is impressive for two young forwards in Shanahan, Duff Tytler, and obviously Waterman, the kingpin down there. And then their small forwards have got to their feet more often than not.
The Eagles have just kept in this great contest at Norwood. Edwards won it down for the Cats. It's straight into the hands of Robertson. Tackled immediately by Warple. They'll ball it up again. Bailey J slapped it forward into the path of Holmes. Kicks the Cats inside forward 50. Fly, Neal at the back. Mark taken then. Well done by Sandy Brock. Last line of defence. It's able to measure the kick forward. Comes to Hewitt. First game for the Eagles this season after an injury-interrupted pre-season. Promising player for West Coast. Kicks in the direction of Bailey J. Williams, and in front on the logo, commentary wing, he takes a mark. On the run by, receiving the hand pass was Young. Gets it on to Reed. Ugly kick. Just smacked it forward. Not really got any distance. Marked by Holmes. Intercept grab for the Cats. He's got it just inside his defensive 50. He can go to O'Sullivan, who marks it left half back. Scores level, 5-6, 36 apiece. 13.5 gone in the second.
Not 15 called. Forced to play on. Was corralled by Allen. Goes up the wing. In front, Neal had a couple of cracks at it. Knocked away by Brock. Allowed Harley Reid to come in front and centre. Handball back to Duggan. Wrong side for him. Tries to go back by hand to Brock. They're under the pressure, the Eagles. Just outside half back. He's tackled by Edwards, and luckily umpire said there was no prior there.
Left footer having no right shoe. Makes it very hard, doesn't it?
His teammates left him, though. Then he was outnumbered by 3 Geelong players.
Ball up just forward of the wing. Broadcast side. Edwards robed his own work. Coming through the Eagles through Reid. Trying to get it to Duggan. Now crashing in Hewitt. He's ripped off it. Ball bobbling around 55, 60 metres out from the Cats' goal. Laying the tackle is Archer Reid on this occasion. Can't be separated as Atkins gets to his feet. They'll toss the ball up in the air. Clint Wilden, you can try and clear the congestion.
Ball put aloft. Eagles win the tap. Down to Reid. Got a hand pass away to Graham. Quick hand pass to Robertson. Sweeps a hand pass to Waterman. In space on the logo. Commentary wing running by Lindsay. Receives the footy. Puts the Sherrin deep towards full forward. Duff Tightler goes to ground against Kolajasny. Scooped up here by Stewart, who turns it straight over. Down the throat of Lindsay, hands it on to Waterman. Top of the 50-metre arc, chips it short. Not long enough to be a mark to Schonberg. Running by Graham. He kicks towards goal. He's offline. He
coming
misses.
back.
Back.
Free kick.
Yeah. Tom Stewart. The leaders are giving away a few downfields today, aren't they?
Yeah. So Stewart's giving away the free kick, which means the Eagles can have a shot at goal from the top of the 50-metre arc. It's going to be to Schonberg, who's already got one this afternoon. He's first in Eagles colours. Can he make it a double and put West Coast in front of the 16-minute mark of the second term?
I didn't see it.
Oh,
Rock, did you see it?
Yeah,
There's another one on the late.
Yeah, I'm not going to comment.
Okay.
It's just like, wow.
So here comes Schonberg out to the right from 51, and it's exactly the same result. It's a miss to the left-hand side. Nothing has changed. The behind will go on the scoreboard for West Coast, but they do hit the front nonetheless. 5-7 plays 5-6. 16 gone in the second.
Holmes given the room to play on. Out of full back. Goes down the eastern side looking for a target. Off hands, couldn't find one. Ball bobbling around. In over the ball. Trying to knock it out is Robertson. He might have jumped on top. Probably got lucky with one there. Ball will be tossed up. Outer edge on the centre square on the eastern side of Norwood Oval. Archer Reid in the ruck against Edwards for the Cats. Edwards robed his own work, tapped it to himself and was wrapped up again. They try and clear it one more time. Archer Reid tapped it. Myers, the first one there, through traffic, handballed forward for Broon. He's tackled, taken high by Davis, and Geelong will win the free kick. Now they can separate. As a player in the middle of the ground in Mullen, goes further across the field towards O'Sullivan. As a runner coming past in Kolajasny on the logo, broadcast side of the ground, kicks up towards half forward. Going back with courage was Humphries, couldn't take the mark. He was collected by Allen. Mullen and Schoenberg go at it. Ball bobbles around on the boundary. Players are crashing in. It's scrappy as now Schoenberg is ripped across the boundary line out of bounds. They'll toss it in 60 metres around from Geelong's attacking goal. They lead, well, they trail by 1 point.
Gutsy play everywhere from both sets of players then. Spun in, left half forward for the Cats. At the back, it's one down by Edwards. Trying to merge with Atkins. Bruin was there trying to lock it in against Reid. Atkins does get a hand pass forward. Eventually, Dersma picks it up. Hot for Allen to be able to gather. Out the back, Schonberg has it again. Brock got tackled by Wiltshire. Ball spills out, close. No, he'll get the free kick here, Wiltshire, holding the ball. So Wiltshire will have it. He can have a shot at goal if he wants. He'll start from beyond the boundary at left half forward. He'll put boot to ball from about 51 out. There's not the breeze that has impacted the previous games here. He will send it towards goal, though. It's across the face, missing to the right-hand side. Jeremy Cameron suggesting perhaps you could have put it out.
I reckon.
Yeah. For me to have a run at it, maybe towards full forward, not to be.
I don't know. There was a fair few players in there. I think that was the right option. But
He's not missed left then, because that's the way the wind's going to go.
He's ran out wide and tried to bring it back, and it was never coming back.
37 points apiece. 5-7 plays 5-7. 18 gone in the second term.
Long from the kick out, right below our commentary position. Big pack coming across Shanahan, couldn't mark a West Coast. Schomburg just threw it forward. Umpire said play on. Baker received it, kicked a bouncing ball towards half forward Stewart. Clean as always, below the knees, gathered it. Handball to Guthrie, who pinpoints a pass. Up the boundary line to O'Connor. Inside by foot to Myers. They're going quick now, the Cats. Kicks it forward to Smith. Looking for a runner coming past. No one there. Holmes eventually ignored him. Now kicks inside the forward 50. Big fly from the back and nowhere near it by Archer Reid. It'll be a free kick going the way of Edwards. He got a little overzealous there, the young man. Got up and in the end didn't even reach for it because he was about a week early for it.
As soon as he landed, he put his hands up. He knew he made the blow.
Wave to the box, I reckon.
Yeah.
Sorry, coach. I'm not sure. Brain fart. Then mate, go for it when it's in your forward line. Absolutely. You'd love to see that sort of stuff, but in defence, when you're giving away a shot on goal, I'm just not sure that's the percentage play.
Yeah, he rocked up to the airport on a Friday for a flight on Sunday, then I reckon.
He was very early.
He was way early. Edwards has ball in hand for the Cats. Looking for his first career goal. It is away to the left. Couldn't get it done. The West Aussie to minus score. It puts the Cats in front. 5-8-38. The Eagles are 5-7-37. 19 minutes played in this second term.
Eagles still hanging tough, especially considering after their performance last week. The game was done and dusted by this stage. You're at Norwood up against the Cats. McCarthy.
That's out, surely.
Who's out of bounds on the full. That's the third of the day. Towards left half back. The Cats immediately work it on to Myers. He's got a runner going by. It'll be kicked inside forward 50 by Geelong. Henry there, got a fist on it. O'Connor out after it, close. Thought he was able to get there in front. Robertson, it's been rushed through. Close appeals for it.
He's claimed it.
He did claim it. Well, they send it upstairs.
Yeah, they're sending it.
Goal umpire was pretty confident straight away, but I reckon Close might have just got a boot to
I reckon
it.
he might be right.
So let's have a look. We're seeing on the replay here, Robertson was trying to get there. Closest throw on the right boot out at it. The ball tumbling past. Has he made contact? Now that angle's not perfect. My suspicion is that he has. Angle from behind will tell us a little bit more.
The Eagle hasn't touched it, we know that.
No, it's either just carried through from the spoil or Close has got the slightest of little toe pokes on it from the inside of the right boot. Now, I can't hear what they're saying, but I have a sneaking suspicion from the way the Cats fans are cheering that it's going to be called a goal. Let's look to the score review. Goal it is. Well, that is a poacher's goal from Brad Close. He was close, but got enough on it just to get the right leg around Devon Robertson and give the Cats a 7-point lead. They're up Geelong in the 22nd minute mark of this second term. 6-8-44 to West Coast 5-7-37.
He liked it straight away. So that's what gave me the feeling that potentially that he did get something on it.
Yeah.
Albeit, I mean, we're looking at it from 200 metres away, so it's hard for us to judge here, but it's they haven't really dominated, have they, the Cats?
No,
it's been a bit clunky. Their inability to be clean and break through. You got to give credit to West Coast and their ability to defend and put pressure on.
Yeah, if you look at it, you wouldn't say Geelong are leading, really. I'd say West Coast have probably been the better team. A couple of silly errors that's cost them scores, but yeah, Geelong are just bumbling around at the moment.
Numbers this quarter are fairly even across the board in the key areas. All comes out the way of Brood, who fell on his own in the end, got to ground and was tackled by Graham. Umpire allowed him the courtesy of the little trip.
Good bit of hurdling from Devon Robertson too. Had to leap over the top of him.
All tossed up in the air. Edwards and Williams again going at it. Ball gets socked forward the Cats' way. Coming through Duggan for West Coast. Has to throw it on the right boot this time. Had no choice. Robertson had a falcon straight through the hands onto the head. Allen. He fumbled the handball coming past. Now players crash in inside the centre square. It spills out somehow to Brian Myers. Pivots on a dime. Kicks inside 50. Too hot for Cameron. Out the back, Bowes. Look away handball. Wasn't great. Straight to Duggan. He can clear it for West Coast. Dersma floating across. Made a contest. Couldn't take the mark. Now Robertson comes in, tackled by O'Connor. They'll reset in between wing and half forward attacking side for the Cats. They have a 7-point lead, Geelong. 23 minutes played in the second term.
Cats kicking to the left of our broadcast position. That's the Woodcock end as they win the tap down. Straight to Bruin. Shocking kick. Just dropped it poorly. Overrunning it was Hoff. Allen was there to mop up for the Eagles. Back to Duggan. Co-skipper beyond defensive 50 to a pack of players. No one can take it cleanly. Trying to work it forward again was Mullen. Gave it to Atkins. Kicks back inside attacking 50. Jimby read it well. Was able to mark on his chest. Surrounded by another 4 players. 2 on 3. Eagles had the numbers. Jimby. Mop of hair bouncing behind him as he takes a couple of steps and kicks towards the commentary wing. There's a push here, a clear out. So the Eagles will get the free kick. It's coming back here to Harley Reid. So Reid on the commentary edge of the centre square. Glances around to see what the options are. Running by was Hoff. That was ignored. Reid decides to go on a trundle himself. Hand passes to Lindsay, another one of the Eagles' promising young players. He'll kick it deep towards full forward. Front position. Shanahan couldn't mark. Spilled out to Schonberg. Immediately tackled by Warple. Picked up by Owies. Tackled, lost possession. Still the ball's in play. Umpires spotting the free kick. It's going the way of the Cats. It'll come back here to be taken by Stewart deep in the left back pocket.
Jakey Waterman not happy with it here on the bench.
Geelong 6-8, Eagles 5-7, 25 gone in the second term.
Yeah, we're getting some pretty direct feedback from the Eagles fellas right in front of us. Apologise if there's anything colourful coming from them. Myers kicks up middle of the ground, marked by Dempsey, plays on, looping handball to Bruin, kick to the lead of Cameron, who marks on this occasion. 48 metres out from goal, finally got a bit of space, a bit of delivery, and Jez can go back and have a shot from outside 50, just ever so slightly to the left.
It was much better by Geelong. Ball movement looked like cleaner. I think that's you can see the difference between like really good teams and good players. They're clean.
Yep.
They don't fumble. They don't bobble it around, and it's just that was some really clean ball movement from Cats.
And quiet so far. Jeremy Cameron comes in, set shots, drop punt, looks nice, is nice. Pumps the fist. He gets himself on the board, Jeremy Cameron. They pull clear, Geelong, 13 points, now the lead, 7-8-50 to the West Coast Eagles, 5-7-37, 25 and a half played in the second term. Gather round footy on ABC Sport. Brett Delidio and Ryan O'Keefe, our experts.
You look down the stat sheet here, Rock, and they've had the 12 inside 50s, the Cats, but Ollie Henry, nothing. Shannon Neal, nothing. Wiltshire's probably playing forward, Manor forward, Cameron had one, Manor had one. They're just not getting. They're not getting on the end of it because the ball movement has been a little bit stifled and it's been probably a little bit scrappy. That time they've eventually get the ball into the good players' hands. Brian Myers comes back through the middle. Great kick to Ollie Dempsey, and then you get to Tanner Bruin, who's he's had another great quarter. Had the 6 disposals. Finishes off the work.
The restart, it's thrown up. Williams with a more telling tap down for the Eagles. Trying to get out after it. Hewitt. Looking to emerge eventually is Graham. He's tackled by Warple. The Cat takes Graham to ground. Ball up will be the call.
And this is the sort of the late part of the quarter where you say the Eagles, you just got to, let's just sort of keep it calm. Let's not give away anything silly.
OJ wins it down again. Graham went out after it for the Eagles. Hand pass back to Kelly. Attacking edge of the centre square. Kicks towards full forward. Good fly up in from the side. College Asney back in the team after missing out through all of 2025. Good mark for him to Holmes, to Humphreys, who marks just beyond defensive 50, immediately heads down the wing. 1-on-1 battle. Neil was there against Brock. Went over the top of them to Jindy. Oh, Brock kept running. Neil got him. Lack of awareness from Sandy Brock, and Neil affects the tackle and gets the free kick. Immediately puts it into the left forward pocket. Jinby Rose got a touch on it. Cameron behind him tries to gather it. Might have been taken high by Dersma. Umpire says play on. O'Connor goes up. Got a hand pass out the side to Manor. Kicks towards full forward. Ball spills past Baker. Last line of defence, Young. Got it to Lindsay. Kicks up in the air in the right forward pocket. Dersma slapped it towards the boundary line. That'll be a throw-in. About 45 out from the Cats attacking goal deep in the left forward pocket. 28 minutes gone. Geelong leads 7-8-50. West Coast 5-7-37. Clint Wilden alongside Mitch Turner in commentary on ABC Sport.
Williams in front from the shallow throw-in. Tapped it straight to O'Connor over the Cats. Off a step, around the body, Gaelic style. On the right boot, kicks the goal from 45 out. That's a hell of a finish for his second goal, Mark O'Connor. And he kicked that like he was playing back home.
Kick it over the bar.
That was it, over the bar.
That was a proper over. Umpire signals one hand up, hand down.
County Kerry would have been proud of that one.
Very proud.
Ty Kennelly, he'd be texting me now saying that's I taught him everything he knew. Lovely. Tingle? Beautiful little. Like that's
how much purchase
they can get off one step. You see the Irish players. Look at that little side step, but that's just a beautiful finish. That was I spoke before about can the Eagles just late in this quarter just shut it down and not give away anything. Just so they can they've had a really good quarter, they're thereabouts, and just let a couple little goals now go late. And it's these red time goals that you got to really try and sharpen up. Yep.
They kicked 3 goals in time on in this term. 28 minutes gone now. Not long to play as Bailey J. Williams gets a hand pass away to Kelly, to Dersma, forward of the commentary wing, kicks inside the forward 50. Reid was coming out to it, couldn't mark it. Bruin gathered off the deck to Holmes, affected a hand pass away into the middle of the ground. It's bouncing towards Manor, broke one tackle, lost possession of the footy, mopped it up a second time. Holmes across half back for the Cats. Shares it to De Koning, back to Holmes. He'll take a bounce, run towards right half back. Shanahan chases him down. Holmes still going. Just gets the kick away. Humphries underneath it. Did well. Got pushed. Take your pick. Against Baker. Humphries into the right forward pocket again, looking for Cameron. He had 2 to beat this time. The Eagles double teaming him, and West Coast win that battle. Jimby knocking it across the boundary line in front of the scoreboard for a throw-in. 29 gone. The Cats are 8-8-56. The Eagles 5-7-37 as we approach half-time here at Norwood. Gather round on ABC Sport.
I think Max Holmes, our halfback's been sensational. He's really shown some run and drive.
Had plenty of the ball this quarter. Maxi Holmes, ball offhand on the outer side, trying to track it down. Ginby, step between traffic for the Eagles. Handball to Tyler Young. Wanted to clear congestion, kicks it up the wing and standing underneath. Taking the mark is Guthrie, who can immediately switch for the Cats. Has Tanner Brune running through the middle of the ground, takes the mark, completes the switch to O'Connor on the logo, broadcast side, handball to Colin Jasny. He ran into a bit of trouble, the defender, goes back to O'Connor, dinky kick to Brune, gets it back, runs the 50, kicks on goal for number 3. Oh, they'll be doing the Irish jig around Norwood Oval. What a half of football Mark O'Connor is having. Kicks a 3rd goal. If you don't mind, the Cats, well, you said Ryan O'Keefe, Brett Deledio, you don't want them to run away in the back end of this quarter, and all of a sudden they've burst the margin out to 25 points, 9-8-62 to West Coast 5-7-37. A 2nd goal in the quarter for Mark O'Connor, a 3rd for the game.
Yeah, it's disappointing at the back end of the quarter, and you spoke about it enough already. That Mark O'Connor, that little dinky kick over the top, and then to get it back. Dev Robinson, I think he's doing the job on Bailey Smith, and he's done really well this quarter. He's kept him to just the 2 disposals, but he had to choose between, do I keep going with Bailey or do I come back and put pressure on? Just got caught napping, which gave him that open run into goal.
Mark O'Connor had never kicked more than an individual goal, a single goal, in any of the games, any of the 150 games he played before today. He's got 3 this afternoon at Norwood as the Eagles have it across their half-back line. Duggan, hurried kick away up into the air. Schomburg tries to reach it. Spoil came from the back from Bruin. Down to the Cats. Atkins immediately gets a kick away inside the attacking 50. Shanahan flew. Trying to gather again, Neal. Taken eventually by Brock, who goes beyond defensive 50 and finds the number 1 draft picking Dersma. Willem Dersma with it at right half back, about a metre in from the boundary. Come down the commentary wing. It'll land somewhere on the logo. Stewart wanted it more than everyone else. Went up, should have marked it, spilt it, come back to the Warple though nonetheless. Cats with it through to Koning, then to Smith. Now to Atkins again, back to O'Connor, the man of the moment. Hand pass to Smith, forward again to Dempsey, back again to Smith. The kick is inside forward 50, missed the target in Manor. Ginby tries to gather. Cameron got crashed into. He goes to ground. Ginby eventually picks it up. Stolen away from him, and that is again remarkable. Bose throws it onto the boot from right full forward with no real space to work at, and he kicks another one for the Cats. They've kicked 4 goals in time on Geelong to take control of this game as we approach half-time. 33 minutes gone in the second. The Cats are out to 10-8-68 to the Eagles 5-7-37. They're out now to a 31-point lead. As we hit time on, they were up by a point.
Half-time can't come quick enough. You can see the Eagles players, they've got hands on hips. It's just, they've just run out of a bit of steam. And Geelong are as good as any team when they've got their tails up and they've got a bit of a lead. So they're going to be now really, really hard to stop. Young Dersmer, I praised him. He's beautiful in his attacking side, but he's getting a bit of a lesson on you have to be a defender as well as a midfielder. And O'Connor's really working hard and working him over the other way. So, look, half-time needs to blow for the Eagles.
All back in the middle. Can they stem the bleeding? Not so far. Smith, he gets the clearance straight away for the Cats. High kick inside 50, off hands. Roving it is close. Whistle is blown. It's going to come back. And Tyler Young is going to get the free kick for a hold in the contest. So, for the time being, a little bit of a lull as the Eagles manage to, hopefully, I won't speak too soon, just rebound one attacking foray from the Cats. Might be an issue with Max Holmes. We'll get Razor to keep an eye on that as Young goes outside the arc and outside to the eastern wing. Free kick paid for a push. Bailey Williams wins the ball. Into the side for his first game of the year, replacing Matt Flynn, who was omitted. Kicks up towards half forward and floating across like he's done so much is Stewart. Takes the mark, but it was a hold on Waterman. Against the breeze is probably just outside range. 70 from goal. Kicks towards the pocket at the back. Dersman trying to put on the pressure. Couldn't. In the end, helped spoil the ball, but goes out of bounds. Left forward pocket right next to the behind post. Deep inside the Eagles attacking 50. 22 seconds left in this quarter.
Yeah, no real options there, Waterman. All these forwards are all emptied out and they didn't have a chance to get back.
Koning up against Williams. Got a hand in from behind. Coming through. Reed at ground level. He's trying to break through the big man. Tackled. Taken to ground. They'll ball it up. Seconds tick down. I'll be happy they haven't conceded another, the Eagles, after a run of 5 in a row for the Cats. But they'd like to try and sneak one here with a few seconds left on the clock. Tapped into the path of Robertson. He's tackled immediately. Ball ripped out of the pack. Handball over the top. Snap over the head from Dersmer. Can he produce something special? Now, that was audacious. He does register a minor score, so it's something to stop the bleeding. It's the Eagles' first score since after time on in this second term. It makes the margin a straight 30 points. 5-8-38 West Coast. Geelong 10-8-68 as Clint Wilton told you. 5 goals coming in time on to finish that half of football.
So they kick goals in the 22nd, 25th, 28th, 30th and 33rd as they hit time on. It was a 1-point lead. It's now a 30-point lead. Geelong, their skills really starting to take a toll as these young Eagles battled away just manfully for a quarter and a bit. That is a impressive lead that the Cats have found in time on of the second term. The goal kickers, they look like this. Mark O'Connor, a career-high 3. He only kicked 10 going into today. Never kicked more than a single goal in a game. He's got 3 today, the Irishman. The rest are singles, though. Close, Neal, Warple, Wiltshire, Bowes, Cameron and Smith. While for West Coast, goals to Dersmer, Baker, Owies, Shanahan and Schonberg. The Cats led by 7 at quarter time. They lead by 30 points at the half. What can West Coast do now? They need to just, for their supporters that have made the trek away and for themselves, they need to hang tough in this second half and not get blown away by a very impressive Geelong side. The Cats and the Eagles both 2-2 on the ladder going to this game, but they're miles apart in the expectations ahead of them for this year and on their mature and experienced talent. Let's get the thoughts of our experts. What's been, to be fair, pretty entertaining half of football between the Cats and the Eagles. Ryan O'Keefe and Brett Delidio gather around on ABC Sport.
Yeah, we've seen the Eagles. They've come to play and it's been a massive improvement and it's been impressive. It's just the lapses towards the end of the quarter, the time on, red time, whatever you want to phrase it. So that's just what they really need to tie up, and that's what the young team. So hopefully they go back into the change rooms now and go, look, we've played some really good footy, just some lapses of concentrations. We've just got to do what we do for just a bit longer, and I think there'd be some positive. There's definitely positive signs coming out of that. And Geelong, they've just they haven't been that impressive, but that last little bit, they've obviously
put the foot down, didn't they?
Put the foot down and blown the score out a little bit. So look, I think there's some positive signs from the Eagles camp, and then from Geelong, they'd be probably going to go, okay, look, now we've got them. Let's just start working harder and let's be a bit clean. I think going forward is where Geelong could probably clean up a bit, as you mentioned before, Brett. There's a lot of their forwards haven't really had any impact at all. So I think that's something that if that starts clicking, then they'll get their mojo going.
Yeah, they had the 19 inside 50s there in that quarter, and they had the 9 shots on goal, which is a concern, obviously, for the Eagles. But they've largely held Neil and Cameron relatively quiet in terms of their major firepower. But they're getting them in other ways. You know, I don't think they would have accounted for Mark O'Connor kicking 3 on the whiteboard, coming into the game. But yeah, you're right. I felt like they probably overpossessed a little bit during that quarter. The Cats, like they're getting their hands on the footy and they're trying to break out to get it free to really open the game up. And that's why I think you've got to give credit to West Coast. Their ability to put pressure on and make it turn into a bit of a scrap, is what they've got to do for the rest of this game. But can they do it for a full 25, 30 minutes of a quarter? They showed the proof was in the pudding that they couldn't in that quarter.
Yep.
And as the game goes on, the more you have to defend because Geelong have got the footy for longer, they wear down. You just drop off that little bit, the game opens up. So, yeah, you'd be pleased if Minnie McQualter, mate, this is a far better start to the game than what they had last week.
Yeah, definitely. As I said, look, they've played some good footy. They've been good. At least they've competed.
Yes.
And it just looks like they've tired out a little bit, which is understandable.
Young team.
With a young team up against a seasoned team like Geelong. So, look, hopefully they refresh, they regroup, they come out. They play a really contested brand of footy. And to your point, I think particularly at this ground and the way it looks like there might be a bit of rain coming through is don't overpossess it.
Yep.
Whatever it's both teams. It's a territory game. It doesn't have to be sexy. Everyone doesn't have to have a touch. The object of the game is kicking through the big stick. So if we can get it in there, we've seen how dangerous it is when a ball gets long into the top, around that 20, 30 metre mark. The forwards are competing. The small forwards have been really busy in the likely type. It's just one of those days where a lot of numbers can get back quickly on the key forwards. All you want to give them an opportunity, let them compete.
Some of the major ball winners for that quarter. Max Holmes, we've spoken about him and his drive off half-back. He had the 13, Tanner Bruin 9. Bailey Smith was pretty well held there by Dev Robinson for most of that quarter. Yep. He got 4 or 5 just late, ended up with 6. Harley Reid led the way for the Eagles with 8 in that quarter. And overall, we've got Harley Reid on 14 for the Eagles, Tim Kelly 13, Max Holmes 19 and Tanner Bruin 16 for the Cats.
You talk of battle-hardened, we saw the Swans yesterday, battle-hardened, successful teams that know what they need to do. When you compare the age, and we know where they're at for the reasons they're there, but West Coast, 11 players in this group, 21 years or under, the Cats have got 2 in Edwards and O'Sullivan. And that starts to tell, doesn't it, when you've got young groups?
And that's where when teams go on this rebuild, you've got to keep older players around to show. And Geelong have done it so well for so many years. They keep blooding in young players, but they've got a core group of old players that set the standards and show them this is what it's about, this is where it is, and this is what high-level AFL footy is. So I think when Geelong have done it really well over the years. Yes. Even Hawthorn have done it really well. You can say Sydney have done it really well over the years. But when you say we're going to rebuild and you bring all these youngsters in, they don't really have too many guys to be able to show the way and lead. And sometimes it's a sink or swim thing. So, look, it can be a real challenge. So hopefully they're almost learning from the opposition. They're playing what it's about, and they can keep a young group together and they can develop and grow together with that.
2 more games to come. After this one at Norwood, we'll head to the Barossa for GWS and Richmond, and then back to the city for Adelaide Oval. Port Adelaide and St Kilda will wrap up gather round of 2026. We're at half-time in this battle between the Cats and the Eagles. Will West Coast be able to reset and come out and fight, or will the Cats just put the foot down as we saw the Swans do last week? That is all ahead of us. Geelong leading 10-8-68 to the Eagles 5-8-38. Now, wherever you're listening, on ABC Radio, News Radio, Sport Digital, and streaming on ABC Listen, let's take the latest from the ABC Newsroom.
ABC News Hello, I'm Satyam Weinstein. U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance says the American delegation is returning home from Pakistan without a deal after talks with Iran to end the war the United States and Israel launched against it at the end of February. Larry Buttrose reports.
It follows talks into the early hours of the morning in the capital Islamabad between the U.S. and top Iranian officials, led by the Speaker of its parliament. But Mr. Vance emerged saying no deal.
We have been at it now for 21 hours, and we've had a number of substantive discussions with the Iranians. That's the good news. The bad news is that we have not reached an agreement.
He says his team was quite flexible, but the US made its red lines as clear as they possibly could, and the Iranians have chosen not to accept the US terms. Iran's foreign ministry describes the talks as intensive and is calling on the US to refrain from what it calls excessive demands and unlawful requests.
The Federal Transport Minister, Catherine King, hasn't ruled out further cost of living relief in the upcoming May budget as Australians continue to be hit hard by the fuel crisis. The federal government has halved the fuel excise and slashed the heavy vehicle road user charge to zero for 3 months to ease the cost of petrol and diesel amid the Middle East war. But the government says it expects there will be a long tail when it comes to the impacts of the war. Ms. King says the government's doing everything it can to take the sting out of price hikes.
We've obviously got the tax cuts coming in on the 1st of July, but whether there's need for additional measures for household and businesses, they're all the things that we're contemplating as part of the budget process.
Meanwhile, Motoring Group, the NRMA, has thrown its support behind a federal government advertising campaign urging motorists to consider reducing their car use. The campaign, titled Every Little Bit Helps, is expected to cost around $20 million and will roll out tomorrow across television, digital platforms and outdoor sites. NRMA spokesperson Peter Curry says with no end to the price hikes in sight, any messaging around reducing fuel consumption is important.
We encourage Australians to kind of take the time to listen to the messaging, and we hope it makes a difference. We hope it makes it easier for families because every litre of fuel they don't need to use is money in their pocket.
British police say they've arrested more than 500 people at a protest in London to support the banned group Palestine Action. Their ages range from 18 to 87 and include Robert Del Naya, a founding member of the band Massive Attack. The UK government banned Palestine Action under anti-terrorism legislation last year after some members of the group broke into a Royal Air Force base. Ukraine is accusing Russia of violating an Easter weekend ceasefire deal. The agreement was announced by Russian President Vladimir Putin to mark Orthodox Easter. Ukraine's military says Moscow has violated the terms of the 32-hour truce 469 times. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky made no mention of the violations in his evening address, saying Kyiv will stick to the agreement. Meanwhile, local government officials in Russia are reporting a number of Ukrainian strikes that have left several people wounded. NASA has welcomed home the 4 astronauts on the Artemis 2 mission with a rapturous reception in Houston after they made it safely back to Earth from their flyby of the far side of the moon. They were greeted with rousing applause by those assembled, including their family members. Canadian astronaut Jeremy Hansen spoke of the connection people have felt with the crew's journey.
It's the human experience that is extraordinary for us. What you saw was a group of people who loved having meaningful contribution and extracting joy out of that. And what we've been hearing is that was something special for you to witness. And I would suggest to you that when you look up here, you're not looking at us. We are a mirror reflecting you.
Cyclone Mila has been downgraded to a tropical low after losing strength in the Solomon Sea. The system peaked at a Category 5 and battered the Solomons and Papua New Guinea's remote outer islands in recent days. It's expected to remain as a tropical low when it reaches far north Queensland later in the week. The Bureau of Meteorology's Dean Narramore says it will bring thunderstorms and heavy rain to the region.
Probably more of a flash flooding risk at this stage, probably in that 50 to 150 millimetre range, maybe over a few days, maybe heavier falls on the north tropical coast, but definitely one to watch if that moisture lingers into the weekend.
And there's a two-way tie for the lead after 3 rounds at golf's Masters tournament at Augusta National. American Cameron Young carded an equal best round of 7 under to share the lead with defending champ Rory McIlroy at 11 under par. Jason Day is the best of the Aussies, tied for 5th at 8 under. You're up to date with ABC News.
Are there any winners in the cost of living crisis? What's causing the algal bloom?
Questions. They've never been more important. So the one thing we'll never question is our duty to keep asking. ABC News. Keep asking.
On ABC Sport, this is the 2026 AFL Gather Round, live from South Australia.
He did the ruck work, tapped into the path of Warple, had a bit of space, got it onto the left boot, snapped towards goal. He's got it, he loves it in the milestone game. James Warple in game 150, kicks goal number 50. Williams in front from the shallow throw in, tapped it straight to O'Connor over the Cats, off a step, around the body, Gaelic style. On the right boot, kicks the goal from 45 out. That's a hell of a finish for his second goal, Mark O'Connor. To O'Connor on the logo, broadcast side, handball to Colin Jasny. He ran into a bit of trouble, the defender. Goes back to O'Connor. Dinky kicks to Broon, gets it back, runs the 50, kicks on goal for number 3. Oh, they'll be doing the Irish jig around Norwood Oval.
Smith, the kick is inside forward 50, missed the target in manner. Jimby tries to gather. Cameron got crashed into. He goes to ground. Jimby eventually picks it up. Stolen away from him, and that is again remarkable. Bose throws it onto the boot from right full forward with no real space to work at, and he kicks another one for the Cats.
The 2026 AFL Gather Round.
On your radio,
ABC Sport Digital and ABC Listen.
It's one of the great events in football, and it's the final day of it. I speak of Gather Round. This is the 2026 version. We've seen some cracking games so far. Friday night was not a great game of football, but it was thrilling because it was close, with Fremantle getting over the top of Collingwood. Bombers fans, they'll want to come back here every week after they got their first win of the season, and the first in a long time too, dodging that unwanted record of 18 straight losses. Essendon, after 17 losses, said that's enough, and they beat Melbourne by 45 points. And a big surprise, with respect to the Hawks, 40-point winners over the Western Bulldogs. Sydney got it done yesterday at this venue. Gee, there's a lot to like about this round, and hopefully I'm prepared. And I say this as a West Australian, so there's no bias from South Australia here, but as a West Aussie, I hope it sticks around in Gather Round and they can get a deal done, because the way that this state's put it on, they deserve to keep it if they can come up with the right amount of money to make everyone at the AFL happy. It's just a tremendous performance from South Australia and from the AFL to put all these games on around the place. And I'm also a believer of what we've heard. We've spoken it a few times. Don't put every game at Adelaide Oval. Take them to the Barossa, maybe to McLaren Vale in the future. Come to one of the suburban grounds. This is just terrific. You wouldn't want to do it every week, but once a season, absolutely magnificent to get to experience what it's like again at these wonderful venues, getting out to the parade and seeing the old stands here. There are challenges for the teams. There's challenges for the broadcasters as people walk in front of our broadcast position all the time, but you just accept it for what it is. And certainly those people that have turned up today, they will have enjoyed every moment of it, and you can see what a moneymaker it is for tourism throughout South Australia. The Cats lead 10-8-68 to the Eagles 5-8-38, but West Coast have shown a bit at times today. They need to continue to show the level of competitiveness and pluckiness to not let this game get completely out of hand. The Cats may be very keen for a bit of a percentage booster. At the moment, their percentage is 89.7, and I know that no coach talks about getting a percentage booster down in the rooms, but percentage so often does decide whether you finish top 4, whether you get a home final underneath that, or nowadays perhaps avoid those wild card games. So yeah, percentage does tell. They could be hopefully doing what Sydney have done as far as the Cats supporters are concerned. The Swans' big win over the Eagles has them top of the ladder at the moment on percentage. The Eagles warming up in their ochre Guernsey down to the left of our broadcast position. The Cats yet to make their way back out onto the ground, but it is a packed Norwood Oval, and I'm keen to see what sort of crowd we do get officially when it's announced a little bit later on. The numbers are in front of Mitch Turner. We know what the score says. Geelong by 30. What does everything else say? Mitch?
Some of the other team numbers first. Geelong edging ahead with the ball. 183 disposals to 159 after it was level at quarter time. So hands on the footy a bit more. Contested possessions are even. 65 apiece. Uncontested possession is the difference. Geelong up by 21 in that stat. They lead by 3 on the clearance count as well. The inside 50s have edged ahead 31 to 25 with 7 marks inside 50 compared to the Eagles 3. The hitouts 23 to 22 the way of West Coast. The tackle count, Geelong lead that as well, 43 to 31. Individually, Max Holmes has led everyone on the ground. 19 disposals for him, 464 metres gained as well. Bailey Smith, he's got 16 with 475 metres gained and 7 inside 50s and a goal. 16 as well to Atkins and Tanner Bruhn, and Mark O'Connor has 12 touches to go with his career high 3 goals. For the Eagles, Harley Reid 14 touches, 9 of those contested. Tim Kelly 13 for him as well, 4 inside 50s. Tom McCarthy with 12 and then 11 apiece for Willem Dersma, who's got a goal, and Liam Duggan, the co-captain as well. Those are some of the numbers, but the margin, the most important number, is 30 points, the way of Geelong here at Norwood Oval.
Ryan O'Keefe, let's lean into a bit of your local knowledge. If you were to have a game somewhere else, where would you put it here at Gather Round?
Yeah, look, I think you could probably give each of the sample clubs an opportunity to host it, whether you can do it for like multiple games. I'm not sure about the infrastructure and all that setup. That might be tough, but maybe is it each year one of the clubs gets to host more of the or 2 of the clubs get to host some of the games. So if you want to, have it at Albert and Oval, or do you have it at Woodville West Torrens? Do you go to West Adelaide?
Central Districts is a big ground.
Central Districts is a big ground. South Adelaide. Do you give them all an opportunity to host something at the ground? I'm not sure how. There's obviously a lot of infrastructure that needs to go into that.
So for those of us who come to this ground and we love the old grandstand, we love how it looks. Where are the heritage grounds that you could take it to if you were going to pick one of those ones?
Well, Port Adelaide, obviously, Albert and Oval, it's got a lot of history and a lot of stuff that. Sturt might be a bit too small, I think. That's a tiny ground. I don't think it's got much infrastructure around it. So you've got to look at grounds that probably can, good size, accommodate an AFL ground, I suppose. That's probably where you look at it. Down McLaren Vale, the showcasing the Barossa. I think everyone knows about the Barossa. Do you need to showcase the Barossa? Is there something in the Adelaide Hills? Is there something in McLaren Vale you could look at? So yeah, look, it's interesting. Do you have a bit of a retro? Go back to Amy Park, Footy Park. Do you have a game? There?
What's left of Footy Park there?
Well, there is an oval there still. You could probably cordon off there. I think one stands there. I'm not quite sure. I think there's a lot of housing around that. So. That'll be interesting.
Let the homeowners cash in.
Yeah.
Rent out their house.
Exactly right.
Parking.
Yeah. Second half underway. Gather round on ABC Sport. Here's Mitch Turner for you.
Williams wins the ruck knock for the Eagles up against Edwards. Tried to follow it up. Graham too. He was held, dispossessed, and he'll get a free kick. Got the right arm heavily strapped. Because Jack Graham mummified on that right side of his body. Kicks a high ball inside the forward 50. Waterman in front. Punch from behind by Collar Jasny. Dempsey tried to clear it, kicked it straight up and down the elevator shaft. Owies won't be 15, tried to claim the mark. Umpire said play on. Williams for West Coast. Handball's outside 50. Wiltshire takes it. Got it to Dempsey. No look handball over the head into the middle of the ground. It'll come back the way of the Eagles. Robinson gathers. Off to Bo Allen. Step through traffic. Now a high ball inside forward 50. Flying Shanahan couldn't take the mark. Waterman at the back tried to break a tackle. Was dispossessed by Smith. Picked up by Holmes. Now through traffic. Bit of composure and fancy footwork from Collar Jasny. Just needs to hit the kick to the wing, and Hoff was able to punch it away from Wiltshire. Out of bounds right in front of the Eagles bench. Right below our commentary position here.
You can see a directive from the Eagles already. It's just, let's get it in there. Let's get some deep entries.
The umpire faces our position as he throws it back over his head. Williams, big fist to the front. Bailey Smith got there first. Couldn't take clean possession. Then he went back and got it. Handball across to O'Connor. Now to Mullen. Spearing kick out the wing. Finds Warple, who could handball to Holmes. Here he goes. This is his strength. Takes the bounce. Runs towards 50. Pops it over the top. Neal takes an easy mark. And straight away, points
Oh,
to the
Grindmeister's-
goals. He's got Grindmeister standing in the pocket all alone. But he
want to
as
kick
a
it.
key forward does.
Yeah, I don't know how I
He
feel
wants
about
it.
that. I get that your key forwards pay to kick big goals, but I like Nikola Jokic's theory on this. He's like, I get an assist, two people feel good. I kick the goal, well, only I do, so maybe pass it off, but you never know. You might knock it through and make a fool of me.
Not enough Serbian in Shannon Neal, the West Australian. Kick on the way from Neal through the goals. He turns, celebrates, lets them know in the crowd. And there you go. All's well that ends well. If you go back and kick it, then it's okay. Shannon Neal gets Geelong's 11th goal, 11-8-74. He gets his second. The Eagles a 5-8-38 margin, quickly out to 36 points. 2 minutes into the second half. Brett Toledio and Ryan O'Keefe.
And it's come from great run from Max Holmes again. Like, he's really going, yep, this is my position at the moment. I'm going to own it and make something of it. And he's been really good off half-back. Plenty of run and drive. And that's what you want from those attacking half-backs.
We don't tend to see the defensive half-forward too much anymore, do we? Unless it's a hard tag. But someone's got to take responsibility for him. Because at the moment, he's just running his own show down there and running off at will and delivering and causing an absolute ruckus down there.
Edwards against Bailey J. Williams goes up and Edwards wins the tap down. Immediately got it on to Warple. Hand pass away to Atkins. The Cats into attack again. Into the right forward pocket they go. Cameron front position and Jinby takes the mark. 45 out from goal. 45-degree angle to the right.
Clearance again is king in this ground. You just Warple being able to shake off the tackler to get it to Atkins. And it was a little bit nondescript, I should say. It wasn't exactly pinpoint lace-out pass, but just fighting off Jinby to get a hold of that one, Jez Cameron.
Jeremy Cameron with one today. Boots cross the 50. We're right behind the kick. It's swinging out to the left-hand side. Mark taken by Neal. Left full forward. It fell short. Neal was there. Got the arms up high. He'll look to snap this goal from left full forward. Shannon Neal has a couple, and that's the way it remains because he's hit the fat bit of that football. Has it even gone through for a behind? I'm not sure it has. I think it might have gone out of bounds on the full. What's the goal umpire saying? Having a look in his direction. No idea, I reckon.
It's gone to the point.
Yeah, goal umpire says it's a behind.
Just back yourself, lad, I reckon.
Yeah, at this stage.
That's what he's there for, isn't he?
Yeah.
That's what I love about D-Rod. Just backs it.
Great David Roden.
The umpire swapped that. I think they've swapped ends. This poor umpire's been
same one.
He hasn't been backed in all day.
He's nervous. He's not backing himself.
Well, I think he's calling it. I think the umpires around him are not. I'm not quite sure.
So it is umpire's call, and it is a behind.
Of course it was.
So that's twice now they've done that. Anyway, another score goes the way of the Cats, and their lead is out now to 37.
It was a terrible kick by Shannon Neal on goal. Absolutely bellied it. The Eagles come out through Duggan. Handball to Young. Good run from him. Kicks up the wing in front. Mark should be paid to Kolodjasny as Waterman's tried to claim it.
100%.
But it's going back, and he's not happy, Jake Waterman, as he's got to return the ball to his direct opponent. But that was 100% a mark to Kolodjasny.
It's a rule as old as time, that one.
That was genuine man in front. Kolodjasny goes short. Nice strong mark under pressure by Lawson Humphreys. Who, of course, was part of West Coast NGA Academy and the Nick Natanui Academy, where he was overlooked and eventually taken by Geelong and has done well applying his trade. Kick up the wing, big contest, still to Warple. His handball turned over. The Eagles go away through Hoff. Kick just no good. Too high for Shanahan, who had some space on Stewart and was able to take the mark. You can send Geelong back up the outer side. Big pack flies. Nice mark in front by Bailey J. Williams.
Kick the kick.
Yeah.
It's a bit of ping-pong footy as the Eagles will reset.
Nothing worse as a forward. You've got separation from your defender and they kick it straight over your head.
Williams towards the right half forward, stretching Shanahan. Couldn't quite reach it. At the back of the pack, it's picked up by Baker for the Eagles. Running by Reid. Hands it off. Harley Reid on in turn to Graham, who goes for goal. And he kicks one for the Eagles to end a run of 6 unanswered goals by the Cats. Graham gets his first of the afternoon. West Coast are able to cut that margin back to 31 points. 6-8-44 the Eagles, 11-9-75 the Cats. We've gone 6 and a bit minutes into the third.
It's become it was a bit of a game of tennis there, a bit of turnover to turnover. Who made the unforced error? But Williams has been impressive for me in the ruck. He's obviously come in and he's competed. You look at him, doesn't look like he's not a very big man really compared to in the ruck terms.
He's too strong for the young bloke in Edwards though, isn't he?
He's competed really well, but his follow-up's been great, really, really good.
Hit out to advantage 5 for Bailey Williams as well. No one else has more than 1.
Got to love the way Bailey J tries his heart out every time for West Coast.
Right now it's Duff Tyler in the ruck and Edwards just smashes it forward. Coming off the half back line, McCarthy socketed off the deck before he collided with Edwards. Ball back in the centre circle. Knocked into the path of Duff Tyler. Nice handball forward to Tim Kelly. Before McCat kicks forward and finds an eagle. Waterman on the lead. Takes it on the chest. And this one is paid. He wasn't just the man in front. He was the only man.
And that's, again, you break through line, handballs to get out of space and then go direct along to the contest. Or not the contest, out to the lead, but at least it's a deep entry.
Hasn't had his kicking boots on today, Jake Waterman. As I said, for the season now, with 3 behind today, 9-15. The former All-Australian. To give the Eagles 2 goals in a row. Jake Waterman, he makes this one count. And the Eagles fans behind the goals, they love it. They've come from far and wide. And they celebrate that one here at Norwood Oval. The beauty of gather round. The Eagles, 2 in a row, 7-8-50 West Coast. Geelong, 11-9, 75 margin back to 25 points. 8 minutes into the third term here. Gather round on ABC Sport. Brett Toledio and Ryan O'Keefe, our experts.
Yeah, reward for effort at the moment for Eagles, isn't it? They're competing and in the contest. But as we've spoken about for most of the game, is how long can they continue to do it for? You know, you get that little bit of nourishment from kicking goals off the back of, pressure and being clean and being direct, as you spoke about, Rock. But, you've got to continue to maintain the rage when that does go back the other way.
This is a good fight back from West Coast. Game was slipping away from them. They brought the margin back to 25 points. Can they get a third in a row? Duff Tyler won it down. Baker was over it, couldn't gather. Edwards emerges with it for the Cats. Hand pass to Bruin. Bruin will kick into the left forward pocket for Geelong. Thought been held there, Henry. Was it being called? He has.
Yeah.
Had his arm just held to him by his Eagles opponent. He'll bounce up and play quickly, kicking towards the teeth of goal. Cameron! Diving back as he took the mark at the top of the goal square. That is a great grab. He'll play on immediately, snap it around the body, and send it into the contingent of Cats fans at the pavilion end. Another one to Jeremy Cameron. He's got his second. And after 2 straight goals for West Coast, Geelong respond. They've got their 12th of the afternoon. 12-9-81 to 7-8-50. The Cats lead us 31 points. 10 gone in the third quarter.
I think the Geelong forward group obviously had a bit of a heart-to-heart or some honest feedback. Yep. They were pretty quiet. They've come out. Neil, Cameron and Ollie Henry. Is that his first touch?
Yeah, he hasn't seen a lot of it, has he?
No. He's so they've sort of those sort of key forwards have now just starting to get a bit busy and into the game, and if they get going, it's going to be really hard for Eagles to stop.
Last time they met, it was a tight game at 3/4 time, and it's only 11 points the margin, and it finished 43 points the way of the Cats. Free kick from the stoppage, a hold going the way of Atkins. Geelong can go forward. He handballs it off to Bailey Smith, pumps it towards half forward. Couple of Cats fly. Henry went through his hands at ground level. He tries to follow it up, taps it to himself, shakes a tackle, was taken high. So Ollie Henry getting himself into the game, gets the free kick. He'll have the set shot for about 45 metres out. Slightly worse than a 45-degree angle to the right.
Problem here for Young.
He's limping off.
Couldn't see what happened. But you're right, Rocky. He's started with a lot more energy in this quarter, hasn't he? He just looks like he's attacking the ball a little bit more. And all the forwards do. They just look more energetic.
Keep an eye on Tyler Young, who's come off the field.
Give Ray something to do.
Ollie Henry has ball in hand. The blue boots on. Kicks towards goal. Umpire does a shimmy. And then he'll put 2 fingers down. Ollie Henry. He gets himself on the scoreboard. First goal for him of the day. Geelong answer back. Eagles kick 2 in a row. Geelong get 2 straight back. 13-9, 87 the Cats. The Eagles 7-8, 50. 37-point margin. 11 minutes played. Third quarter here at Norwood Oval. Gather round footy on ABC Sport.
And it looks like both teams have had a bit of that directive not to muck around with the ball as much in that midfield and get it in. So that's why we're sort of seeing both teams, once they go end-to-end, they're scoring. So because they're playing a bit more direct and giving their forwards an opportunity to compete and have some shots on goal.
Let's see what Ray can see downstairs. Ray Chamberlain on the boundary.
Yeah, Tyler Young's limped off into the change rooms, obviously getting some treatment on that left lower leg.
Problem there for West Coast injury-wise. So we're back in the middle. One down by Duff Titler, but taken by Warple of the Cats. Gave it to Humphreys. Kicks around the body towards centre wing. Dersma waited. Spoil came at the back from the Cats, but it'll spill back. Mullen couldn't claim it cleanly. Looked to work in the direction of Baker. It's going to be the lasso rule going the way of Geelong. Warple will have it. Come down the line. Beautifully weighted kick. Able to stretch and complete the mark was Bose. The run again from Bailey Smith. He takes a bounce at right half forward, runs inside forward 50, kicks to the top of the goal square. Great defensive mark.
Kicked a lot of floaters today, hasn't he?
Yeah, been tumbling around, and it's 50 as well here. Not standing on the mark. So that was a clanger from Smith. Opportunity now for Davis to bring it up into the middle of the ground. Gave it short towards McCarthy, through the middle to Robertson. On the run, Hewitt kicks towards goal, but didn't quite have enough on the kick, and going back to take the defensive mark is Zach Guthrie.
Goes short into the pocket to O'Connor. Elijah Hewitt, what's he had today? Working his way up to 5 disposals after coming back in the waffle last week. Ball out to the wing. Davis shook a tackle for the Eagles. Handball forward. Schomburg tackled by Mullen, held it in, and it spills out. Probably lucky not to get a holding the ball decision. He just put it on the ground. Comes out the way of the Eagles. Kelly snaps it inside. Forward 50 into Koning. 50. Takes the mark, and there'll be a 50 for... Oh, he's coming over the mark.
You don't like that?
It's pretty stiff, that one, wasn't it? It was immediate.
Yeah, like...
He came over the mark maybe by a step, but the warning's kind of gone a little bit on occasion, hasn't it? They just ping it straight away. After the broadcast side, Stewart marks, inboard to Connor Jasny, plays on, kicks towards Bailey Smith, spoiled by Dev Robertson. Good contest between Baker and Broon. And Baker gets a free kick for a high tackle. Both went low, both went hard. The Eagles have it back. Baker handball to the runner McCarthy. Tried to change angles, was smothered by Bose. Ricochet to Robertson for the Eagles. Oh, he's cut off by Mullen, who gathers. Handballs back to Guthrie. Tries to dance along the tightrope on the boundary line by Boots of Broon, who does. Marks, handball to Smith. Kick was a little high. Out the back, Cameron trying to work his way back onto it. Becomes the tackler. He wraps up Sandy Brock and got him just a little high. So the Eagle will win the free kick in the back pocket. Geelong lead this game by 37 points. 14 and a half played in the third term.
The Eagles beyond defensive 50 with a kick. Dersma in front of Guthrie. Couldn't mark, brought it to ground. Eventually picks it up. Got a hand pass away to Hewitt. Got the arms free of the man of tackle. Moved it on to McCarthy. Swept the hand pass forward. Cats have got numbers there just inside the logo. Shanahan was trying to work it out for the Eagles. It came though to Connor Jasny to Humphreys. Tumbles a kick inside the attacking 50. Bounced away from Cameron. Unlucky bounce for the Cat. Duggan under real pressure. Gathers. Cameron followed him up. Takes him to ground. Umpire lurks. Just got the hand pass out. Came to Henry, then to Neal. Neal snaps towards goal. It's missed. Cats fans were cheering for it. Just floated across the face a little bit. Just a minor score.
He's doing his best to try and get the free kick, Jeremy Cameron.
Eagles bring it outside. Defensive 50. Good kick by Lindsay. Great mark by Waterman. Presenting a long way from home. He was still complaining after Neal's shot had missed. I think the opportunity's gone now, Jez. Waterman switches it into the middle of the ground to Robertson. He comes all the way to the broadcast swing. Dersma takes the mark. Disposal 14 coming up for him. Backs back off the mark, assessing his options. Just has to kick high inside the 50. Looking for a marking target. Shanahan overran it. Fist came from behind. Pulls to Schonberg. Snap around the body. Bellies it. Spirals it out on the full. Does not register a score. Margin will remain 38 points as Geelong will have it in the left back pocket.
Cats quickly move it out towards Dempsey. Marks at left half back. Off stands on the mark. Dempsey Bright pink boots on. Wouldn't have looked out of place yesterday with the Gold Coast. Goes back to O'Sullivan. Guthrie spun away from Schonberg. Kick towards the eastern wing. Close attack the football. Couldn't mark. Went through his hands. Hewitt behind. Tackled immediately. Got a hand pass out though to Davis. Kicks towards right half forward. Comes to Kelly. Pops it inside forward 50. Shanahan marks. Better from West Coast.
Lovely composure there by Kelly, just nice and smooth, and just lowered the eyes. After a couple of turnovers, the defence in the Geelong were just a little bit out of whack.
Yeah, Tom Stewart's standing back with his hands out. Like Shannon Knoll, what's going on here? Yeah, I think it might have been a little breakdown with some of their high backs. Just couldn't get back in time.
Shanahan with one today. Boots cross the 50, kicks from 45 out. Goes straight over the top of the umpire's hat, and the Eagles fans behind the goal at the northern ends. It gives them something to wave their flags about once more. West Coast get their 8th of the afternoon. They move to be 8-8-56. Geelong are 13-10-88. The Cats lead cut back to 32 points. 18 minutes gone in the third term. This is Gather Round on ABC Sport, on ABC Radio, News Radio, Sport Digital and streaming on ABC. Listen, Clint Wilden alongside Mitch Turner in commentary. Our experts, Ryan O'Keefe and Brett Delidio.
This quarter's been a little bit of a turnover game. I think the Eagles particularly are starting to overuse the ball a little bit. The
game's opening up, isn't it?
Yeah, starting to open it up. But, yeah, just players just not quite being clean. And when the player is clean or are lowering their eyes or going a bit more direct, it's a lot more dangerous.
Well, back in the middle, Williams taps it forward for the Eagles. Atkins, first hands on for the Cats. Fed it to Holmes, who continues to run off of half-back. Kicks out wide, close on the eastern wing, takes the mark. Plenty of Cats fans over that side, clapping him on. Has the long sleeve on, as he always does. Runs around, kicks inside the forward 50. In front was Lindsay, couldn't mark for West Coast. Williams did the roving, handball to Ginby. Kick out in front of Allen, set him a bit of a task. Had to dodge one, then just handballs beyond defensive 50. Schonberg gathers. Back to Bo Allen. Tries to squeeze a kick inside. Too hot for Myers, who tried to cut it off. Out the back in the end. Broon crashes in. Was taken high by Jack Graham. He's not going to return the ball to him. He's going to stand over it. Try and staunch him. Broon goes out to the outer side. O'Connor running from half-back. Handballs to Humphreys. They go further wide into the hands of Bowes. Kick inside the forward 50. Looking for a marking target. None taken by Neal. Ground level. And immediately wrapped up was O'Connor. Looking for a fourth. He can't get it on this occasion. Ball up 20 minutes out from Geelong's attacking goal.
Geelong by 32 points inside their forward 50. It's thrown aloft. Eagles were trying to bring it away. It's been locked in again. Good tackling from close. Wrapped up Davis. Puts it up into the air. Bailey J with the more telling tap. Out after it, Bowes again. Somehow manufactured a hand pass out. Only as far as Dersma. Spirals a kick towards centre half back. Nicely worked on in turn to Hewitt. Tried to shovel it forward to Schonberg. Takes one tap. Still trying to go forward. Cats have numbers. O'Sullivan did really well. Tapped it back to Stewart. He moved it to the Koning, who was then infringed by Reid, and that'll be 50. Harley Reid turns to the umpire in frustration, and he'll be brought inside his defensive 50 to stand the mark, and de Koning will be close enough to have a shot on goal.
Just didn't need to throw that hand in there and hit the arm. It's, I get that you're frustrated, you want to make him earn it and all that sort of stuff. He's just got to get those sort of little things out of his game. It happens too often. He's an ultimate competitor. I'll absolutely give him that, but sometimes it just gets in the way of team performance.
And mark was well taken by the time the arm got in there. Here's de Koning in line with the right-hand goalpost. The shot was perfect. Never looked like missing. The Cats with 14 goals now at Norwood. De Koning with his first of the season. A 22 premiership player with Geelong. And they're out to a 38-point lead again, an equal game-high lead. Or in fact, it is now an equal game-high lead for them. 14-10-94 to 8-8-56. We've just hit time on in the third term. Gather round on ABC Sport.
Just those little things just takes the Eagles have been battling away this quarter. They've been doing reasonably well. They're hitting the scoreboard. But it just relieves the pressure.
Yep.
A little simple. And they've done a few of them today.
And it's deflating across the board.
It does. You've worked hard and all of a sudden you give away an easy goal. So there's probably about I reckon that's maybe the fourth goal that's sort of that easy. They could have squashed. And it's a whole different thing on the scoreboard then.
I mentioned the Harley tax, which he sometimes gets, but it's because he does things like that he draws the attention of the umpires and sometimes gets done when he shouldn't. Bailey Smith did really well. Rode the contact in the middle from a big tackle. Got it to Warple. Deep kick inside 50. Fisted it away towards the boundary as the Cats continue to try and attack. Yeah, the more you do stuff up, the more you get done for things you don't do as well.
Perception's reality.
Yeah.
And that's what it is.
So disappointing on that occasion. He's standing next to Bailey Smith at the moment. He's had plenty of those himself over the years. Tapped down by Williams. Smothered the kick from Kelly. It was Myers. Went back in and got it. Then he was dispossessed. Crashing in Warple. Tries to bullock his way through. Spilled out eventually to Allen for the Eagles. That's a high ball into the Norwood sky. Underneath it, Waterman Stewart. Neither could mark. O'Sullivan with composure came through. Had the handball to O'Connor, who stepped inside, kicks it back inside 50, and going back and taking another intercept mark is Hamish Davis, the young wingman out of Claremont. Runs away, takes a bounce, kicks out to the wing and delivers nicely to Archer Reid. Takes the mark coming up on, I think it's just his second touch of the game, Archer Reid. It's been pretty quiet.
From right half back for the Eagles, Archer Reid kicks towards right half forward, bounces in front of Waterman, couldn't take it cleanly, tried to tap it back to Graham, right up against the boundary line. He's taken over, ball in rather.
Do you reckon De Koning, the boys will hang around? He'll try and get his brother who's playing tonight to shout him a nice bottle from the Barossa, given the contract?
It's a chance, but you've got to try it on for size.
Ask the question. If you don't ask, you don't get. Throwing in, Williams won it down. Came though to Bowes, got it back to Bailey Smith. Wheeled around, got away from his opponent to Atkins. Sweeps a hand pass forward to Warple. Game 150 today for him in the AFL. Kick to left half forward. Neal was third in a line of four. Takes the mark. Plays on quickly. 55 out from goal at left half forward. Goes looking for O'Connor. Who would believe it? He's there in the forward line, in the goal square, and he can't quite mark it. It tumbles across the behind line for a minor score. Could he kick forward today? 14-11-95 the Cats. 8-8-56 the Eagles. 24 gone in the third.
Lindsay outside 50 was looking for Humphries, knocked away by him. Fell to the Cats. Now it rolls away of Harley Reid. Tackled, shakes it, comes to Atkins. Tries to once again burst through. Handball straight up in the air. Graham onto it. Handball back to Lindsay for the Eagles. That left foot kick up the wing. Shanahan floating in front. Stewart knocked it down to Humphries. Then received the handball back from his teammate. Kicks it up the wing. Close and Dempsey. A little bit of confusion in the end. Close stood under the ball. Couldn't take the mark. It comes back the Eagles' way. Schomburg dropped the mark under pressure. Kelly receives a handball. Back to Duggan, the co-captain. Kicks inside 50. De Koning's in position 1A. Can't mark. Knocks it down, though, to Humphries. Geelong have the numbers. O'Sullivan to Stewart, who just goes short to Atkins and just wants to calm everything down. Has the ball just defensive side of the wing, broadcast side. Actually called to play on. Kicks it just beyond the outstretched arms of the defender and goes straight towards Jimby, who takes the mark. The long, blonde flowing hair and the throwback Oka Guernsey.
It was almost as surprised as anybody else. It got to him. Jimby kicks towards left half forward. Spoil came at the back from O'Sullivan. Spilled down to Myers. Tackled immediately. Got wrapped up. Good tackle. Taken to ground by Robertson. A new Eagle. Ball up just inside the left-hand attacking corner of the centre square for West Coast. OJ Williams up against Edwards. Both had a touch. It came down to Bailey Smith. Just sockers it forward. Brock got there on the logo. Well gathered by Graham off the deck. Hand pass in the direction of Duggan. Smith's got him. Took him to ground. Holding the ball. Tried to take on the tackle. Kept going. Made no real effort to get rid of it. Good tackle from Bailey Smith. He's got it for the catch just shy of the logo. 26 minutes gone as he gets told to move it on in this third quarter. The Cats' lead is a game-high 39 points, and Smith will go right back inside his defensive 50 to O'Sullivan.
O'Sullivan wants to go the full switch to the eastern side. Good kick out there to Humphries, who could stand, wait, take the mark, now roll and play on. Kicks to a runner up the field in Bowes. He can continue to go. Marks, goes long. Marking target is close over the top. Oh, the unlikely marking target. Brad Close reaches up high, long sleeves in the sky. Takes the mark and will go back and have a chance for goal number 2.
It's the first time the game is starting to really open up now. You weren't seeing one of those really long back switch
Close, goes around the corner and misses the goal, so the margin goes to 40 points. Ryan O'Keefe.
Yeah, we weren't seeing these long switches now that are usually those long switches get intercepted, but it's been open up, so Geelong is starting to be able to move the ball a bit more freely.
Ryan O'Keefe, one of our experts today. Dual premiership player, Norm Smith medalist, alongside a dual All-Australian number 1 draft pick in Brett Delidio. As the Eagles work it around towards right half back, Davies marks. Hamish Davis steps back and look inboard for a second. They get told to move it on now. He's on a short run. Kicks high up in the air towards the eastern wing. Pack of 4 underneath it. Well read at the back by Kolajasny. Was just in the right spot. Good mark as well. Backing the team after missing all of 2025. Jake Kolajasny kicks down the line and turns it over. There's another intercept mark to Davis. We've seen this before, kick to kick on the eastern wing. Davis misses his target, trying to find Graham. Scooped up, though, by Robertson. Has a couple to beat. Forced to backtrack away from Myers. Tumbles a kick towards right half forward. Duff Tytler. Well, Kolajasny going back has bumped into him, provided the bodywork to see the ball then away from both of them and over for a boundary throw in front of one of the light towers here at right half forward for the Eagles, who are kicking to the left of our broadcast position. That's the Woodcock or northern end in this quarter. It's all Geelong. They're up by 40 points, 28 gone in the third.
Edwards got a hand in and knock it away from Williams. Spills over to Baker of the Eagles. Low sizzling kick inside the forward 50. Mark taken down low by Shanahan. Up against Stewart. Nice grab in the end. He'll have the chance for his third. Tight in the right pocket.
Great clearance work. Very hard to defend that one as a defender with a dart there from Liam Baker. Playing in front, Shanahan. Got a good set of hands. All that was a chest mark, but he presents continually at the footy. They just haven't had the delivery probably, I don't think, today that's really rewarded it.
We call him Shanahan's in the West.
See,
that's the
I like what
nickname
you're
for
doing
him.
there. Yeah, I see
Just
that.
trying something, Lids. Joe Shanahan, kick on the way.
Bang.
Works it back left to right nicely. And he has 3 goals, Joe Shanahan. He's putting together a nice season. He's got 6 of them so far this campaign. The Eagles cut the margin back to 34 points. 9-8-62 West Coast. Geelong 14-12. 96, 29-minute mark approaching us here at Norwood. Gather round on ABC Sport. If you missed, I was going to say, we don't call him Shanna Boots or Shanna Kicks, but yeah, he is Shanna Hands.
What I love about that there, he's gone back. Traditional drop punt, go put it through. This snap kick, I hate it. It doesn't work. How many times we've seen players over
so Shannon Neal just before.
Close just did it. Even like last night's game.
I hate it too.
It's go back, and the best goal kickers we've had in the history of our game.
What did they do?
Drop punts. They all go back and just went bang.
Physics would tell you that it makes no sense, doesn't it?
Exactly.
A restart. Cats win the clearance. Smith hurry kick forward, met by Duggan coming the other way. Taken by Myers.
CBJ to blame, really.
Correct. Yes, true. And Atkins got him as well. Thrown up Geelong edge of the centre circles. Comes down for the Cats, and Bruin, a hurried kick, is intercept marked by Ginby. Top of his defensive 50-metre arc. To Young, who's back on the ground. Pop the hand pass out to Lindsay. Kicks in the direction of Davis. Can't get away from Guthrie. He's tackled over the boundary line. They're going to call that a ball in.
Who else I blame? I reckon Tommy Hawkins and Cam Mooney, because they all started, the big men started snapping at Geelong because of Stevie J as well.
Yeah, he got in their heads.
Yeah.
The set snap. Closing stages of the third term. The umpire unfurls. Neal doing the ruck work. Won it down for the Cats, but it spilled the way of Duggan. Immediately kicks the Eagles down the eastern wing. Edwards is there, punches it forward. We'll get it back from Holmes. Ran straight into traffic. Got absolutely crunched by Owie. Smaller man, but took him to ground. Spills out to Bruin. Hard up against the boundary. Clever inboard kick. Comes again to Holmes. Gives it off to Humphreys. Talented young footballer. Kicks inside forward 50. No mark taken. Oh, roving it beautifully is Henry. Gathers, snaps, and misses left as the siren sounds. Last play of the quarter, a behind to Geelong. 14-13-97. West Coast 9-8-62. So the Cats, who led at quarter time by 7 points, by 30 points at halftime, are out to a 35-point advantage at the final change. 14-13 to 9-8. The goal kickers look like this. The leading goal kicker, Mark O'Connor's got 3. His career best. Shannon Neal with a couple, and then singles to Brad Close, to Ollie Henry, James Warple, Oliver Wiltshire, Sam de Koning, Jack Bowes, Jeremy Cameron and Bailey Smith. While for West Coast, Job Shanahan has 3, and then singles to Dersma, Baker, Owies, Graham and Schonberg. It's the Cats in the opening game on the Sunday afternoon, the final day of Gather Round 2026, who lead by 35 points. We'll get the thoughts of our experts, Ryan O'Keefe and Brett Delidio, in just a moment, but wherever you're listening on ABC Radio, News Radio, Sport Digital and streaming on ABC Listen, this is Gather Round on ABC Sport.
Look at me. Anne Edmonds, Kitty Flanagan, Magda Zabansky, and so many more.
Good morning, everyone.
No one cares. In comedy gems like Fisk, Kath and Kim, and Bad Company.
This fun. No, thank you.
Comedy that leaves an impression. ABC iView.
On ABC Sport, this is the 2026 AFL Gather Round, live from South Australia.
Back of the pack, it's picked up by Baker for the Eagles, running by Reid, hands it off. Harley Reid on in turn to Graham, who goes for goal, and he kicks one for the Eagles to end a run of 6 unanswered goals by the Cats.
Coming off the half-back line, McCarthy socketed off the deck before he collided with Edwards. Ball back in the centre circle. Knocks into the path of Duff Tyler. Nice handball forward to Tim Kelly. Before McCat kicks forward and finds an eagle. Waterman on the lead. Jake Waterman. He makes this one count. The Eagles fans behind the goals, they love it.
Schonberg takes one tap, still trying to go forward. Cats have numbers. O'Sullivan did really well. Tapped it back to Stewart. He moved it to the Koning, who was then infringed by Reid, and that'll be 50. Here's the Koning in line with the right-hand goalpost. The shot was perfect. Never looked like missing.
Woodward's got a hand in to knock it away from Williams. Still zone to Baker of the Eagles. Low sizzling kick inside the forward 50. Mark taken down low by Shanahan. Job Shanahan, kick on the way. Works it back left to right nicely. And he has 3 goals, Job Shanahan. He's putting together a nice season.
The 2026 AFL Gather Round.
On your radio,
ABC Sport Digital and ABC Listen.
It's the Cats and the Eagles at Norwood, and Geelong lead at three-quarter time. Not unexpected, but the margin is 35 points. West Coast having an absolute crack, but they are against one of the more experienced and professional and slick teams in this competition. What have our experts made of it with a quarter to play? Let's find out from Brett Delidio and Ryan O'Keefe.
It's sort of been, each quarter's been carbon copy, really. Eagles have come out strong, they've played well, they've hit the scoreboard. And then just towards the back end of the quarter, Geelong's just been able to just keep grinding away and overrun them. And it's just, I mentioned in that quarter, just those little silly things to give away easy goals takes the pressure off and undoes a little bit of all the good work they've done. So, but the Cats, they're looking pretty professional. Their forward line started to click that quarter. They started to get a bit dangerous. Ollie Henry, Neal, Jez Cameron. But maybe a learning thing for one of the West Coast midfielders is to go run with Bailey Smith.
Yeah. He's had 10 in that quarter.
He's just dominating. Mate, he works super hard.
It's impressive to watch.
It is impressive. You watch his power, the running power he has. It's a lot better than I thought, and I'm very impressed the way. And he gets the contest. He's hard at it. Yeah, he's like any young midfielder. Watch Bailey Smith go.
That's right. And you said it earlier, is like the more times you go to the well, you continue to get a drink, don't you? And that's what he does. He keeps turning up. It's only one to him and Nick Dacos. Their ability to get handball receives and be on the end of it and deliver it inside 450. So they run damn hard.
Yeah, they're there.
They ultimately, I think the Cats probably left a couple on the table there. A couple of easier shots that they missed. Close and Neal probably stand out. So it could have been a 6 or 7 goal quarter for them, but to the Eagles' credit, they continue to try and take the game on, and it was a little bit of kick out there on that far wing from where we're sitting, and some missed targets in that, and your forwards just not quite being in the right position. But ultimately, as Clint said at the start of the third quarter, our coverage here was just they've had a crack, and that's all you can ask for from a young side. The key will be the last 30 minutes. Let's not roll over and have a 10-goal plus loss. Let's make sure that we continue to, work hard and get close enough to our opponent to make it a scrap for them as well.
Yeah, they didn't have a crack last week, and that was the big criticism of them. 128 points, the margin in the end against the Swans. It's 35 at the moment, team stats-wise, after the entire match so far across the 3 quarters. The contested possession count, Geelong ahead in that stat by 11. Uncontested possessions, they lead that by 29. The clearance count, the way of the Cats, 32-25. The inside 50s, 46-35 Geelong's way as well. Marks inside 50, 12-6. Hit-outs, 35-26 the way of West Coast. And the tackle count, Geelong leading in that category, 54-43. Individually, we talked about him a lot. Bailey Smith, 26 touches, 600 metres gained, 10 inside 50s, 4 tackles and a goal. He's had some sort of day. Max Holmes with 25 touches. Tom Atkins with 23. Tanner Broom with 21. The Eagles' McCarthy has 18. Tim Kelly has 17. So too does Harley Reid. And Willem Dersma to go with his goal has 16 disposals. But the Cats, 14-13-97, lead the Eagles by 35 points, 9-8-62.
To come. After this, we'll take you to the Barossa, the Giants and the Tigers, and wrap things up at Adelaide Oval for Port versus St Kilda. There's a quarter to play here at Norwood. We're underway in the final term. Both rucks go at it. More telling tap came from the Eagles. Williams got it down, but here's Bailey Smith again. It kicks inside forward 50. Jimmy went out after it, couldn't mark it. Gathered by Henry. Swept the hand pass back to Warple. Across half forward it goes. Atkins to Smith again. Threw it on the boot. Goes looking for close. And he's marked hard up against the boundary, deep in the left forward pocket.
Have to snap this one though.
Yeah,
Rock, don't you? I mean,
the ones on the boundary like this, when there's no sight between. You have to snap. Yes, this is the only time you should though.
One goal today, and a miss that he thinks he probably should have kicked. He does work his way around to snap it towards goal. That was a thing of pure beauty. Another one to Brad Close. And a goal in the opening 50 seconds to the Cats. They've got their 15. 15-13, 103 to 9-8-62. Geelong's lead is 41 points. Just as the rain has started to tumble down here at Nord. Ray Chamberlain is with us on the boundary. What's it like where you are, Ray?
I've got to say, the view's not sensational, but there's just a little overhang down here, so my thinning hair's got no issues at all. Bring it, let it hammer down.
That actually disappoints me a little bit. I kind of like when the boundary riders get wet.
Is that because you used to be one?
I've done it.
Yeah,
heaps.
I remember.
So, sucked in, I say. Cop that, Ray. Hopefully it comes in sideways. The fans haven't been deterred.
Yeah, I was going to say, I've been really admiring the fans who've turned up. No one's going away.
Is it low-hanging fruit to say don't rain on the parade? Or is that just a bit
That's a Ben Cameron joke right
there. It's a shocker. I had to try and make up for it, Liz. You don't have him today. Holmes for Geelong. Handball to Smith. Kicks it inside 50. Mark taken by Jinby. So I'm aware of Ben's terrible work.
I like it.
He's a dad now. He's allowed to pull out
that he's been doing those jokes since he was 16. That's the problem.
You can't hide behind the dad as being bad jokes.
Oh, well, yeah, you can. I do.
Jinby for West Coast finds Stewart. Gives it to Lindsay. Goes short to centre-half back.
Gives you a licence, doesn't it?
Where Harley Reid could mark. Runs across his own defensive 50. Got himself in a little bit of trouble. Kicks to his housemate in Willem Dersma, though, who takes the mark. 2 number 1 picks combining. I'd say Dersma's probably outshone him a little bit so far this season. Kicks a high ball up the wing, right on the logo from behind. Duff Tyler tried to mark, couldn't. Spills to Warple. In game 150, the former Hawk is tackled right on the logo.
You got high expectations there, Mitchie.
Of what?
Poor old Harley, and outshone by Dersma.
He's had a pretty good first few games, Willem Dersma. He's kicked 6 goals in his first 5 games. Here he is. Tried to go after the ball, was pushed off it in the end. Coming through Brady Hoff, tackled. It'll be a ball up in between wing and half forward, favouring the Cats scoring end. They lead by 41 points.
Thrown up here. The back, one down by De Koning. Warple just lets it roll forward for a bit before he picks it up and bursts through a bit of traffic. Kick was meant for Neal. Couldn't take the mark. Here's Dempsey wheeling around onto his right. Snaps it towards goal. Good mark. In front, Young. Had to mark it as well. Gave it off to McCarthy for the Eagles. He takes a bounce in the right back pocket. Sends West Coast towards right half back. Stewart tried to fly. Duff Tyler in front of him. And Duff Tyler gathers and then tackled to ground by Stewart. Umpire says we'll ball it up. Oh, now O'Connor has just run straight into Reid. Reid wasn't looking there.
He gets an Academy Award for that one.
He's gone to ground. do think O'Connor was very happy for the contact. And Reed then follows up, and that's where he's then put a knee into Atkins. And that's the problem with Harley. Something goes against him, just needs to be able to let it go as Atkins takes the kick inside the attacking 50. Cameron flew, couldn't quite mark. Jindy at the drop, got tackled, lost the football, came out towards Myers, again to Neil, on to Henry, into the right forward pocket with the kick. Good battle on out here. Trying to get to it, Allen. He's tackled to ground by Dempsey. Got a hand pass out again. Guthrie picks it up, goes back again. Wiltshire snaps around the body. Neil right there, flies along with him. Williams for the Eagles. Neil follows up on the deck, held to him by Baker. Inside forward 50 for the Cats. We've got ourselves another ball up. 4.5 gone in this final term. The Cats lead is 41 points.
Tossed up in the air. Williams came through, took up the Eagles, and will get a free kick for being held. Is it like being back on the bench and in the game at times? Here you can hear everything on the bench.
That little bit just there. I understand the frustration. Yeah.
Takes you back to the playing days. Kick up the wing. Waterman flew, couldn't mark. Off hands. At ground level he goes again. Atkins trying to burst through. Stands up in a tackle. Gets a handball away to Collar Jasny. High kick inside 50 for Geelong. Williams had all the time in the world, but West Coast spilt the mark. Able to take control though. Handball to Lindsay. He goes beyond defensive 50 by hand to Hewitt. Turns around, kicks up the wing and in front. Nice mark taken. Strong mark by Collar Jasny. There you go. Switch it inside the centre square to Mullen and now to Holmes, who straightens up the angle. Takes a bounce. Kicks high inside 50. Looking for Cameron. One-on-one with Young. Kick favoured his side. And in the end, under the pressure, did well to hold on to it. Can go back and have a shot for his third, Jeremy Cameron.
That's a beautiful play. Switch on turnover.
He turns around, he puts it through, and he kicks the goal, Jeremy Cameron. Didn't waste any time at all.
That's a training drill you run there. You intercept mark off half-back, switch, run off half-back, long to key forward, bang, go back, kick a goal.
That's a third for Jeremy Cameron now. He does that. Never wastes any time, does he, on those?
Nah.
Caught me off guard.
Did he snap it?
Yeah,
he did.
He likes to go quick, doesn't he?
Yeah.
It's like the golfer doesn't want to stand over the putt too long. Just gets it, go whack, knock it in, and move on to the next.
Yeah, you're right. The ability of Collar Jasny there to take that intercept mark, but get the quick switch going. But Max Holmes to kick that, 50, 60 metres, but to the advantage side. It was well read by Jeremy Cameron and good strong hands, but can't underestimate the kick from Max Holmes.
3 goals to Jeremy Cameron, goes alongside Mark O'Connor, the other Cat, with 3. Joe Shanahan's got 3 for the Eagles in this game so far. So along with the first 2 goals, in fact the first 2 scores of this final term. And their lead is out to another game-high 47 points. Ball in the middle, tossed up to Koning. Emerges with it. That's a clever hand pass to Myers. They're on the run again, Geelong. Beautiful kick to Wiltshire. Has it at right half forward. Sends it inside forward 50. Courage taken by Duggan. Here the big fellas are coming the other way. Got to punch it away. Down to Davis. He was tackled immediately by Cameron, or Young rather. They'll ball it up. Right in front of Geelong's attacking goal. The northern end, the Woodcock end at Norwood Oval. Came down here from Neil. He's out after it himself. Ball's out towards left full forward. Wiltshire got a hand pass away. Manor tries to gather. He couldn't. Wiltshire does pick it up. Tackled to ground by Duggan. Ball up the call. Left full forward.
How's Manor gone today, Mitchie?
Hasn't been too prolific. I'll let Clint keep going. He's had 5 disposals.
Jimby won it down. Got it out to McCarthy. From right full back, that's a high and long kick into the Norwood skies. Going up is the Koning. He couldn't mark it. He'll pick it up off the deck nonetheless. Now to Bailey Smith. 51 out from goal. Kicks to the teeth of goal. Off hands. Allen was there. Snapping. Dempsey misses. Slaps the ground in frustration after he fell forward, getting the kick away. A minor score. First for this term for the Cats. 16-14, 110. They lead West Coast yet to score in this term. 9-8-62. 8 gone in the last.
Ball goes out to the eastern side. A couple of players, O'Connor and Allen, both slipped over. On hands and knees is Graham. Handball back to an Eagles teammate in Lindsay. High kick up the wing. Wrestling going on. 2 number 8s, Hewitt and Collar Jasmine. Hewitt takes the mark against the bigger opponent. His return to the side today, first game of the year. Kicks up towards centre half forward. Nice mark by Williams. Off to Robertson. Kick over the top. Shanahan can take the mark and turn around, roll in, boot it into the grandstand for goal number 4. something to smile about for the Eagles fans. That boy in ochre is okay. Joe Shanahan, 4 goals to him. Margin back to 42 points, 10-8-68. Geelong, 16-14, 110, 42-point margin, 9 minutes played in the last. We'll get on Joe Shanahan. So Sean Manor, 4 kicks, 1 handball, going at 20%. He's had 1 clearance, 100 metres gained, 1 inside 50. He's done nothing.
That didn't last long, that comment.
Starting next week.
Oh, starting next week. Yeah, that really didn't age well.
No,
I was sort of hoping Shannon put that one out of the grandstand, a bit like Jeb Alders. Just send it, go and put it to the wine festival out there, give another souvenir away.
Great hands by Williams. It's in our 4.
Oh, wasn't it?
Joe Shanahan, a career-high 4 goals. Speak of a career, by the way, he's just 14 games old. As the Cats bring it out through the middle, Bruin immediately kicks the full forward, carries over the top of Cameron and Brock back there, and it's hit the right hand behind post on the bounce. It'll be a throw-in.
Robertson's in trouble, yeah.
Didn't spot what it was for. Anyone else see it off the ball? Ray Chamberlain downstairs, just spot anything then?
No, just a beautiful, beautiful day down here, and you can't spot anything, mate. I asked you to come down and sit here and get my perspective. You've yet to do it.
I think it might be a corky. There's a good reason for that. Just having a look here. Robertson crashed into, I think it was Edwards, was it? Coming across. Yeah, Edwards' right leg. Purely accidentally has collected Robertson, who's had to come off the ground.
I think he
now.
might have hyperextended the knee actually in the contest a little bit. I think I heard him say that to the doctor as well.
Advantage of sitting right near the benches. Oh, here's Cameron. Shrugs one tackle, broke another. Took on one too many, lost possession of the football. Davis got a kick away for the Eagles towards the eastern wing. Came to Owies. Crashed into by Bruin. Wrapped up, ball up the court.
Try to reset again. Playing out somewhat to get to the end of this game. The result well and truly in the book, Geelong's way. Bruin from the stoppage. Handball forward looking at Dempsey. Couldn't find him. Smith came through. Handball off to Warple. Kick on goal is away to the right as the smoke billows behind the goals from the meat smoking going on out the back. Plenty of food vans and things alike here at Gather Round. 10-8-68 Eagles. Geelong now 16-15, 111. A 43-point margin.
It is just about the margin now. Duffy long beyond defensive 50 towards right half back. Here's Kelly. Hand pass off to Hewitt. Oh, that's a great tackle. It came to Doug and Henry got him. Ollie Henry wrapped him up beautifully. Ball up on the attacking edge of the centre square for Geelong. And a gloomy old day. And some good footy at times. As he certainly enjoying it at Norwood as Myers tried to hand pass to Bailey Smith, who's surrounded by Eagles, lost possession. McCarthy gathered, tumbles a kick down the corridor. Still there, O'Sullivan. Put his head over it was Archer Reid. Tapped it in the direction of Harley Reid, and then he takes and then tackles to ground. It's going to be a free kick for a tackle against O'Sullivan.
That's Harley tax right there.
That was very stiff.
I didn't think there was a lot in it.
No.
Anyway, that is the Harley tax as we've spoken about. Cats are away. Mullen now with it at right half forward. Inside attacking 50. Almost a massive fly to Henry. Just missed it at the back. It comes to Young and then to Davis. West Coast are able to move it to Bailey J. Williams. Davis receives it back just inside his defensive 50.
Goes short. A little too short for Owies, who's had a quiet day after kicking a goal early. Dribbles one up the wing. Shanahan saps it forward for West Coast. Atkins and Graham wrestling, and it's a hold going against Graham. Two pretty tough characters. Not as tough as they come in the AFL, those two. Atkins called to play on. Graham wants to get him. Couldn't quite get there in the end. Atkins gets a kick towards half forward. Ball at the feet of Manor. He's going to get on the end of one here. Here he goes. Manor looking for a target inside 50. Kicks it straight to a former cap. In Tim Kelly. Hasn't been a great day for Sean Manor.
It's what happens when you're out of form and you're low on confidence. Things just don't go your way.
The Eagles, through Kelly, come out to Davis. It goes short to Harley Reid. He's tried hard all day at Harley Reid. Disposal 19 coming up for him. Sends it long down the wing. A little bit of the helicopter. Flying up high was Shanahan. Off hands Owies through traffic. Gives it off to Bailey Williams. In turn, handballs it to Baker. He's set upon by a number of Cats. Atkins, the last one to get him. Dropping the ball, missed the foot. Holding the ball called, and Out come the Cats. Atkins out of the broadcast side to Bruin and a handball to Smith.
Oh, here's Bailey Smith on the run again, kicking inside the attacking 50. Neal flew from the side of the pack. It spills down to Myers. He'll snap on goal. Touched on the way through. Brock. Well, I thought Brock got a touch on that.
Yeah, he knocked it, definitely.
Yeah. Now, this time the goal umpires just stood there, and surely he could have... Surely he's a metre away.
Oh, he's gun shy.
If this is tough...
It's just the other guy, though.
And he can't see it, and we're 100 metres away and we can see it, it's terrible.
Well, he's totally knocked it.
Yeah, he's got it with his left hand. I mean, yeah. And we don't have the greatest view. I'm not trying to complain. We don't have the greatest view. You're not very high up here, and we could tell that. Umpire's right there. How would you miss it?
We're 100 metres away, and he is 5.
Oh, less.
They're terrible, the goal umpires.
Yell out to him, Ray. Tell him to back himself.
And that is a behind. So that's the third time that we've seen that happen today. And on all those occasions, curious as to why they needed to review it. I guess better to get it right. Minor score. Cats lead 44 points. 15 gone in the last.
Short kick into Duggan, who plays on, kicks up the wing, and a lovely intercept mark. It's become a big feature of his game, O'Sullivan. Goes back inboard to Tanner Bruin. Thought about going the switch again, nothing on, so instead kicks it inside the forward 50. Cameron in front, can't mark it. Spills back to Jez. Little don't argue. On the right boot from the pocket. Party was spoiled by Ruben Ginby. No gather round spirit by him. Marks it on the goal line. We'll go into the right back pocket to Lindsay, who goes short to Kelly, who marks under pressure. A little overcast day here at Norwood Oval, but hasn't deterred anyone from coming out. The fans are packing the ground. Pick up the wing. In front, Edwards. Punched away from him. Falls to Davis. We're on. Ball's coming. It's up high in the air, right on the boundary line. And it's off hands. Thought for a moment we were in the game.
Thought you were going to show us all the things you taught Lawson Humphreys.
I was going to give everything I had to get over this to try and mark that and absolutely cook it. It's out of bounds and we tossed it in front of our broadcast position. Geelong by 44.
Humphreys, former housemaster at Hale, this bloke to my left. Throw him back in again. One down here by Edwards. Good tap it was too. Bursting away. Tanner Bruin runs the centre half forward. Set his sights on goal and he misses right.
Did all the hard work.
Yeah.
He did.
They're the ones you just knock through, aren't they?
Yeah, if he does. He's had a good game.
Tanner. He has been great.
Yeah, and I think he's started to find his confidence. Obviously missed a bit of footy, but he's